terror attack in 2016. The weapon used in that case, well, that was a truck. That attack was claimed by ISIS.
South Australian shoppers are forking out more due to a shortage of fresh produce. Some grocery stores are charging $9 for a single iceberg lettuce. Wet weather here, floods in Queensland and staff shortages are to blame. Grower Dino Mussolino says the high prices will be here for a while.
Going into June, July is the slowest growing part of the year. So a lot of growers in our state, with the amount of rain that we've had, they can't get in there to plant. So we're going to have another gap. The prices are going to be out there for quite some time, I would imagine.
No more dining in at Pizza Hut. SA's last restaurant at Marion is closing its doors on June 27. There are plans to redevelop the site at the corner of Sturt and Morfett Roads. Help is on the way for those dealing with passport delays. The number of daily applications has doubled as the country reopens, and some people are waiting upwards of 12 weeks for a new passport. The government has put 35 staff into a new call centre, with 35 more starting next week, and at least 250 extra staff will be brought in over the next 6 weeks. Well, the Prime Minister will catch up with his New Zealand counterpart tonight as she makes her way across the Tasman. Lucy Gray reports.
The Trans-Tasman Partnership is one of Australia's closest relationships, so it's only fitting New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern is the first foreign leader to visit Anthony Albanese since his election win. Regional security, trade and climate change will be top of the agenda during the two-day trip. Australia's controversial deportation laws will also be discussed. Ms Ardern is travelling alongside her Finance Minister Grant Robertson.
The World Health Organisation has warned there is a risk of monkeypox becoming established in countries where it's not normally found. But Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus says this situation is still preventable.
More than 1,000 confirmed cases of monkeypox have now been reported to WHO from 29 countries that are not endemic for the disease. So far, no deaths have been reported in these countries.
More accolades for Sir David Attenborough. The 96-year-old has been knighted for a second time for his services to television and conservation. Sir David has been appointed a Knight Grand Cross of the Order of St Michael and St George. Now to 5AA Sport.
New Mitsubishi Triton with 10-year warranty, 10-year capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
And it's good morning to Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Mel. Let's start with football. Port Adelaide has made a bold call at selection, with Sam Hayes coming out of the side, meaning they won't play with the recognised ruckman against Richmond tonight. Defender Lockie Jones is in the side, meaning they'll be a lot smaller around the ground. Tigers co-captain Dylan Grimes will celebrate his 200th AFL game this evening at the MCG. Noah Bolter is back as one of 3 changes for Richmond. Marlon Pickett will return after playing just once in the past month, while 18-year-old Judson Clark will make his debut. Well, Queensland Rugby League legend Billy Slater has started his coaching career with a win, guiding the Maroons to a 16-10 point win over New South Wales in last night's State of Origin opener. Blues captain James Tedesco says Queensland controlled the speed of the game.
They sort of played how we wanted to play. Harry Grant was, had a quick ruck. Harry Grant was getting out, and Munster and Terry Evans, we were playing off the back of that. So I felt like, as Freddie said, they dominated our ruck and created opportunities, and we just didn't do enough of that.
Game 2 will be played in Perth on June the 26th. To cricket now, and Australia has taken a 2-0 series lead in its T20 series against Sri Lanka thanks to another strong bowling performance in Colombo. The Aussies restricted the home side to 9 for 124 from their 20 overs, Kane Richardson and Jai Richardson taking 7 wickets between them. It was a much tougher run chase this time around, but the Aussies still got the total with 3 wickets in hand and 13 balls to spare. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Hitachi Air Conditioners. Be comfortable all year round. Visit hitachieaircon.com.au.
A shower or two, 15 today, showers tomorrow 16, and a shower or two Saturday 15. Right now it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
We were singing by
David Penberthy and World Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
This'll be the day that I die. This'll be the day that I die.
6 after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Thursday on 5AA Breakfast. Off to the US in the first hour of the program today. We've got tickets to our Best of SA dinner that's fast approaching. Next Friday night, we'll be at the Adelaide Oval celebrating the best businesses in South Australia, and you can be there too. Stay listening. Chance to win those tickets and a prize a little bit later today. Matt Abraham will be on the program. We'll dissect the last week in political spin. Smeg Hour, the dish that defines your suburb. Another edition coming up a little bit later today. We've got a fantastic Smeg appliance in the building that we'll be giving away from 7:45 today. Tom Duday on the program. We'll be chatting with the lettuce grower at Virginia as well and flashing back with Michael Smith. Big morning. David Pemberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, listeners. I was in two minds until a few minutes ago about which suburb we would be smegifying today with the Smeg giveaway. I said last week that we'd go west. I hadn't quite settled on which part of our excellent western suburbs we would focus on, but I have now. All I'll say is that it's west and it's coastal.
Okay. Oh, good. My neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, broadly speaking.
Broadly speaking.
Yes.
Not far from where you are.
Excellent.
Not far south from where you are.
All right. That narrows it down a little bit for keen listeners.
Well, there's a lot of suburbs it could be still.
Doesn't rule out much. I'm relatively north on that.
Somewhere between
metric
Merino Rocks and, well, it depends how far you go. You'd probably say somewhere between, Selleck's Beach and Grange.
Yeah. Okay.
Is Selleck's Beach a suburb yet?
Is it not?
Well, I don't know. In the context of urban sprawl.
Yeah, okay. You mean is it part of Greater Adelaide?
Yeah. If you were from Selleck's, would you tell someone that you lived in Adelaide?
Oh, what a great question.
Or do you say you live in Selleck's Beach?
I think of it as
I live in a beach town outside of Adelaide. It feels like now.
I think of it as part of Adelaide.
Geez, I tell you what, 30 years ago it didn't feel like that.
Any Selleck's Beach listeners that can tell us? Where's the border? Actually, what is the border of Adelaide now, these days?
Well, could you go even further? Could you say that the border of Adelaide... What about all the houses around Lady Bay Golf Course?
I struggle with that being Adelaide.
No, that's not Adelaide, is it?
But yeah, you're right. It has a suburban look to it.
But it feels like that little last bit of South Road before you head towards Maiponga. It now feels like that is the end of the... Is McLaren Vale a suburb of Adelaide?
Oh, no.
No.
No, but I'd make the distinction on the basis of its...
But Seaford is.
Its cultural independence. Yes, Seaford 100% is.
So Seaford's a suburb.
Yep.
See, Seaford's... What's closer, Seaford or McLaren Vale? I think McLaren Vale might actually be closer than Seaford.
Could be. But it's a standalone ecosystem, McLaren Vale.
Yeah, it's like a village sort of...
Yeah. Even if we argued the border hits McLaren Vale, I think it's a bit like, Vatican City in Italy. It's sort of... It's its own zone. It operates independent of what's around it.
I tell you what, though, you think back to, like, the 1950s, all of the places we're talking about were regarded as, like, a weekend away, almost.
What would have been the border, do you think, back then?
Oh, Marion was like the end of town.
Yeah, okay.
On the southern side, we're talking about here.
So where does it end
up? It'd be the
up?
same on the northern side. Well, when does it all stop? It's the same now. Like, you look at the big Hickenbotham development in Roseworthy on the northern side.
It might well be that it's almost as big as it's going to get.
Golden Grove didn't exist. That was just paddocks.
Wikipedia, which is obviously an impregnable source, says that Adelaide goes from Gawler to Selleck's Beach. So it says Selleck's Beach is the border.
Mr. Clayton, broadly speaking, agrees with that. He says that, he pulls up a bit shorter on the southern side. He says Adelaide goes from Gawler to the Yonka-Paringa.
Someone says, does the Adelaide Hills count as Adelaide? I'm in Belair, and I think of it as Adelaide Hills.
Well, Adelaide Hills is sort of a state of mind, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the foothills...
Summertown is closer than any of the other places we've just... Summertown is literally like 10 minutes up the hill.
But it doesn't feel like it when you're there.
Oh, you get there and you think, hang on, we're in this sort of bucolic French setting.
I think this is
just up the road from Burnside Village.
If anyone wants to nominate the north, east and southern borders of Adelaide this morning, where Oley is, because this is totally open to interpretation. Yeah. 8223 wherever you might well be, wherever you think. For you in your mind, what's the border closest to where you are? It's easy where I am. It's the ocean. But I suspect all global population trends are that we're kind of reaching peak population right now. Most places around the world are going the other way. So I wonder if we might be living at the time where, within the next 25 years, we'll have the biggest version of Adelaide that will ever exist.
And then it'll go backwards?
And then it'll go backwards, yeah, because that's just the trend that's going on everywhere at the moment.
Japan's already at that point, isn't it?
Japan's already at that point. I think China's at that point.
Because of the one-child policy?
No, apparently they've had the one-child policy for a while. But they're going the other way.
Doesn't feel like it, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Not with them building a new city every 3 days. Good text here from Mick on the Automasters text line. Mick says, can you lads tell the courier companies that Seaford is the suburbs because they charge my business country rates? That'd be a thing, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
For the people on the periphery. There's a broader point here about, when does Adelaide stop? Because all the people who roll their eyes at this going, oh, yeah, I can remember what it was like as a kid. I mean, my dad used to talk about, and this is one of the reasons why I love the Southern Beaches so much, was always our weekend beach trip in summertime was to go down to Port Wollonga before there was an actual walkway. Like, that beautiful timber walkway, that didn't exist there in the 70s. You had to walk down the cliffs. And we used to take tents, cricket bats, barbecues, eskies. It was like some military. It felt like Burke and Will setting off going down that cliff as a little kid. But Dad says that growing up in the 1950s, he can remember there was some guy who had an old Glenelg tram carriage, and he somehow managed to take it, probably on the back of a lorry, down to Port Wollonga, and he just put it in a vacant block of land and turned it into his shack. And his family would stay in an empty tram carriage.
That's awesome.
And it was like this huge talking point.
That's fair. Well, why not?
But we had guys at my school, they had a thing where some of the kids who were doing better at Christie's Beach High got pulled out of the school back when I had some problems, and they got moved to Marion to finish off to do year 11 and 12. So we had this big influx of Southerners from Christie's Way.
Yeah, right.
And heaps of these guys who I became mates with lived in like Port Wollonga and that. And even in the mid-80s, you go down there and there was no, I mean, clearly there's no there wasn't even an on the run there 10 years ago.
Text on the Automasters text line. Morning, lads. If you head along Port Wakefield Road, the new Riverlea suburb and Virginia are almost connected to Metro as well. Yeah, North becomes an interesting one because once upon a time the idea that you talk about Virginia as being part of Adelaide, that's clearly it's where veggies are grown. It's not where suburbs happen.
Well, Scott Hodges told me in his book,
it is now.
He grew up in Salisbury North in public housing, and when he was a teenager, him and his mates, they used to get their motorbikes, and they'd just ride and ride and ride through paddocks for miles, and all the paddocks are now Golden Grove. But he said back then, and he said because he was obsessed with nature, he used to collect lizards and even snakes. He worked out how to catch them with his bare hands. Probably explains why he was such a good mark, very agile. But Scott would go out when he was a little kid. He'd just go walking around in all these fields out there and get blue tongues and sleepy lizards and bearded dragons and stuff and make little houses for them at home.
Yeah. Sue says, well, good morning. I grew up in McGill when it was considered an outer suburb. My dad and his dad built our house in amongst the market gardens. Thank you for that, Sue. We'll take your further submissions on the boundaries of Adelaide over the course of the morning on 8223 0000. Just double-checked. Chinese population growth. Their last census was 2016, and right then they predicted that population decline in China would start in 2030. This year, they're suggesting that it might be already happening. It might have come almost a decade early, the start of population decline. Yeah, it's a global trend.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's probably not a bad thing.
Well, because there's a lot of this going around these days, well, you shouldn't have children because you go have kids, and you're just adding to the climate emergency. Well, guess what? You're actually not. Global population's going down in a large number of places.
Is that a reason for not having kids, is it?
Oh, that's what
that makes me even more of a pariah.
Oh, yeah.
Got 4 of them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
15 after 6 news headlines coming up in just a moment.
The Isuzu D-Max is born to rock. With DAB Plus digital radio, integrated voice command and wireless Apple CarPlay as standard across the range. Hurry to your local Isuzu Ute dealer today.
It isn't waste until you waste it. That's the catch cry from an amazing company called Eco Waste Solutions. Eco Waste Solutions is a hard waste recycling facility, not a dump, located at Williston. They'll take everything except hazardous waste and food scraps. They'll take your waste bricks, your mattresses, tyres, soil, timber, steel, concrete and more. Plus, if you pre-sort your load, you'll receive a 50% discount on disposal fees. Google Eco Waste Solutions Williston for more.
Members get the best deals. And if you're an RAA member, here's how you can save with RAA's end of financial year shop sale. There's up to 50% off travel accessories and tech gadgets at any RAA shop across SA. That's 50% off Go Travel accessories, 40% off travel guides, maps and atlases, 30% off breathalyzers, and 20% off dash cams and Navman GPS. Shop online or in store and keep on moving on. T's and C's apply. You must be an RAA member to receive discounted price.
Exis. EXIIS. You'll find Exis at work in restaurants, pubs, supermarkets, universities, aged care homes, hospitals, councils, wineries and defence. So, what do the Exis team do? Pretty much everything that others don't want to do. The grunt and grime work, the difficult and dirty cleaning jobs. High risk, high levels, confined spaces. No matter what industry you're in, you can count on Exis to keep it clean and hygienic. Exis.com.au.
Bonus gift cards at Harvey Norman. HP laptop, now just $998 plus bonus $200 gift card. Sony 85-inch 4K Google TV, only $3,795, bonus $250 gift card. Save $400 on Samsung 647-litre French door fridge, plus bonus $220 gift card. Save $100 on Massport Pacific 4-burner barbecue, just $768, bonus $75 gift card. Receive up to $200 in bonus gift cards on selected mattresses and bedroom furniture at Harvey Norman.
Go! Dreaming of a new bathroom or kitchen? Get the best brands and the latest trends at Adelaide Bathroom and Kitchen Supplies. The ABK Supplies showroom has just been renovated to showcase a range of Australian-made customisable vanities. Brands like ADP, Timberline, Marquee and more, including imported options. With so many choices for cabinet colours, tops and basins, your kitchen or bathroom will be stylish and timeless. Browse the new displays at ABK, Adelaide Bathroom and Kitchen Supplies, Lower North East Road, opposite Durnan Court Village.
The world could be opening soon, so if you're planning to travel, now's the time to take a short language course at WEA. Chinese, Mandarin, French, Italian, Japanese, Greek and more. When it comes to language, you can WEA anything.
9 News has the experience to break the news. Made in Adelaide for Adelaide. 9 News. David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
Nine minutes after 6. Let's check in on the news headlines on this Thursday morning. New Zealand's Prime Minister will become the first foreign leader hosted by the new Labor government. Jacinda Ardern flying into Sydney ahead of an informal dinner tonight, bilateral meetings on Friday. Australia's deportation laws, security, trade and climate change will be top of the agenda. It's all been international so far. Anthony Albanese's term, hasn't it?
It has. It's going to have to get pretty domestic pretty quickly, given all the cost of living pressures that are going on. I think Ardern's an interesting case study in... She's sort of the Neville Chamberlain of the region in terms of her doe-eyed attitude towards the Chinese government.
Yeah.
And she's found out the hard way over the last couple of weeks. Doesn't matter how polite you are to these sods.
Yep.
And by that I mean the Chinese government, of course. It's very easy to upset them. And, you know, we heard all the sabre rattling this week towards us about the RAF plane. Like, just let's stop pretending that you can actually have an open and constructive and even a civil relationship with this regime.
Well, it's a give an inch and take a mile relationship. Oh. And that's what we found.
Yeah.
Until we stopped.
Exactly. Through no fault of our own.
That's true. Police have laid charges on 8 rebel bikies over a brawl in Mildura at the end of May. The 8 men, all from South Australia, have been charged with a variety of offences, including violent disorder, affray and unlawful assault. Don't see the affray charge knocked around too often. They've all been bailed to appear at the Mildura Magistrates Court in September. A suspected Chinese money laundering syndicate has been uncovered in Victoria and New South Wales. Police say the syndicate is moving hundreds of millions of dollars annually to China, with some Chinese companies believed to be supplying precursor chemicals used to make illicit drugs. AFP Commissioner Rhys Kershaw says it raises serious questions about whether Beijing is overlooking organised crime.
Some countries, I'd argue, are turning a blind eye to the proceeds of crime washing through their economies. We need to disrupt and hopefully defeat TSOC, because if we don't, organised criminals will become wealthier and more powerful.
There you go. No ticky, no laundry, they said in The Departed.
Microprocessors. Security's been stepped up in Berlin after a car ploughed into pedestrians, killing one person, injuring dozens of others. A 51-year-old teacher has died, and many of those injured were school children on a trip to the city. 6 people have life-threatening injuries. A 29-year-old German-Armenian man drove full throttle into shoppers twice, mid-morning local time. The posters expressing views about Turkey have been reportedly found in his in the car that he was driving at the time.
What a coward. That's about the 5th time this has happened in Germany in the last few years.
Yeah, there seems to be the...
And it's not all Islamic terrorism. There's been 2 people who did it who were just barking mad and have been committed to psychiatric institutions. This guy's what, Armenian?
Yep. Drove at a group of school kids.
And the car ended up inside a shop.
Yeah. Well, it was amazing, the scenes immediately afterward. The people were all milling around thinking there'd been a horrible accident. Because the people that got hit the second time hadn't realised there was a first attack.
Yeah, right.
And so they were all just hoping he was all right, hoping the people that got hit were all right, figuring there'd been some sort of mechanical malfunction. Then they sort of learnt the gravity of what had sort of taken place. Top of 15 today, up to 1 mil of rain. That's sort of been the forecast for this entire week. Although tomorrow, how about this? Get excited, 16 degrees.
Ooh,
it's a veritable
gained a
heat
degree.
wave.
Now, I don't want to get too excited either, Will. I hope it's still the same. I saw Monday for the public holiday. Get out your English hanky hats, folks, if you happen to be of the Pommy persuasion. It's going to be 17 and slightly sunny.
Tuesday.
Monday,
though, notable because it's the only day on the forecast without any form of rain forecast. So
well, there you go.
How about that?
Exciting.
Peak of the season.
Positively balmy.
15 degrees on Monday.
Excellent.
Book something in for that special long weekend. Let's talk sport. Tom Renner's in the FIVEAA breakfast studio with us. I've been looking forward to this chat today with Rennie because it's a big day. And it goes, we'll certainly talk about the footy tonight, but lots going on in world sport. New Mitsubishi Triton with 10-year warranty, 10 years cap price servicing at Agostino, Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth. Morning to you.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Yeah, we'll get to the footy in a moment. Big game tonight, but I've spoken to you a couple of times about this Rebel Tour in the golf. Like the whole golfing world's, you know, this blood money that people are talking about. It starts tonight. So a different tour where players have been poached from the PGA Tour in America and the European Tour.
So when you say tour, Tom, for people like me who just very rarely pay attention to golf as a sport rather than a form of recreation, is it a tour, a one-off tournament, or is it a whole series
of different... It's a whole series. Like for the year, they play... The PGA Tour they play all around America. Bit in Mexico.
So they've got, a dozen golf courses lined up, ready to roll.
30 or 40 that they'll play, and they just do the circuit every year. So that's what a tour is called. Anyway, the Rebel Live Tour is this Saudi Arabian-backed one. That begins tonight in London. 7 events, and the first of which is to be played in London. 48 players are set to compete in this, including Dustin Johnson, Sergio Garcia, Lee Westwood, Phil Mickelson, and South Aussie Wade Ormsby. So at this stage, players who play in this tour are allowed to participate in next week's US Open. Reports to get these players involved suggest that Mickelson has been paid $277 million just to play for the next 3 years. Dustin Johnson,
$250 million.
Justin Johnson, $125 million. That's why he's quit his PGA Tour card, because the money is too big. The money, just to put it into perspective...
1 year of that and you never need to work again.
So this is generational wealth. So your grandkids will never have to work.
This is the thing. That they're playing for this tournament this weekend, 3 days, $20 million to be split over 48 golfers. To put that into context, the tournament that's happening in the PGA Tour this weekend, about $6 million over 140 golfers.
Wow.
So then a further $5 million goes to teams. They do 12 teams of 4. Then at the end of the 7 events, they play a grand final where the winner will win potentially another $20 million. So this is what's happening. So the sport is being torn apart. Now, I've just spoken about some pretty big golfers. Reports just in the last few hours that Bryson DeChambeau, 2020 US Open winner, and Patrick Reed, 2018 US Masters winner, both said, we're not going. Reports now they will be. So the whole golfing world is being torn apart. Fascinated for a few things. How will they be received at the US Open next week, where they are allowed to play? Is it blood money? Are they selling their souls? Should they not be doing it?
Well, did you see the Mickelson press conference?
It was heated.
He ended up getting grilled for half an hour, and it sounded like a political press conference because Mickelson originally came out, and he's been a golfer for quite a long time. He was one of the more elder statesmen.
Six-time major champion.
Because he came out about a month or so ago and said, I'm not playing in a country that's got, well, maybe longer than a month ago, but he said, I'm not playing in a country that's got such terrible human rights abuses. And now he's signed on, and if you dangle $250 million in front of a bloke, you can understand why his moral code might start to creak a bit.
Well, especially...
But that presser was extraordinary.
Extraordinary.
And he's tried to sort of walk both sides of the street, and he said, I'm aware of the case of the journalist Khashoggi and the way he was treated. I would not tolerate human rights abuses, but at the same time, I've seen the great way in which golf can create more open societies and bring people together. He said, it reminds me of the guys in the 1970s and 80s who went and played concerts at Sun City in South Africa and said they wanted, and Elton John was one who copped a lot of flake for it, because people said, oh, you're supporting apartheid, and they're going, oh, and they're all getting paid a stack of money. But they all said, no, I'm trying to use music as a vehicle for social change.
There was a great, we're going to play it at 7 o'clock this morning, great question at the press conference. It wasn't to Phil Mickelson, it was to someone else. You might have heard it, Rennie, with the journalists are. So just hypothetically, if Vladimir Putin hosted a golf tournament next week and it had enough money on offer, you'd play it then? The whole thing is brutal.
Yeah.
We'll play it a little bit later.
It's fascinating. And look, just another slight layer of complexity to Phil Mickelson, there are reports that he's got a $40 million gambling debt. So,
wow. Okay. That's a lot of multis.
It's a lot of multis. And look, the person with the biggest job, I think, is Jay Monahan. He's the head of the PGA Tour, Pembo. He's threatened in the past, you will be suspended or banned from our tour for life if you join this rebel tour. What does he do now?
Yeah.
Does he have the courage of his convictions? So look, anyway, I think it's intriguing.
Great story. It's the best story at the moment.
It's really good, but huge game tonight. No ruckman for Port Adelaide. We'll be calling all the action on 5AA. Can't wait. Richmond Port.
Do they get up? What's your tip?
I hope they get up, but I think Richmond win.
No ruckman. I love when teams do something weird.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Sam
Powell-Pepper in ruck a bit, I reckon.
Yeah, absolutely. Finlayson?
Finlayson, yeah.
Excellent work, Rennie. Fascinating story.
Thanks, boys.
Well presented. 10-year warranty, 10 years cap price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
G'day, Jared here. Let me tell you, nothing is going to stop the team at Wavell Mitsubishi from giving you incredible end-of-financial year deals. Yes, the new showroom on Goodwood Road is going through an amazing rebuild, but there's no way that's getting between you and a new Mitsubishi. So, enter via Goodwood Road and choose from the entire range on offer today. It's game on for end of financial year deals at Wavell Mitsubishi, opposite the showground, driven by Australian Motors, LVD 80.
Hi, Rodney Jane here. Make this end of financial year a safe one at Bob Jane T-Marts. Buy 3 tyres, get 1 free, and get up to $100 instant cash back on these top brands such as Bridgestone, Goodyear, Yokohama, Michelin, Dunlop, and the Bob Jane All-Rounder. Buy any 4 Monster wheels and off-road tyres and enter to win a fantastic OzTrack camper trailer. At Bob Jane T-Marts, we'll look after you.
T's and C's apply. SA permit number T22367.
The passing of someone close places unique stress on family and friends. At this time, Farrell and O'Neill Funerals are here to provide reassurance and peace of mind. Farrell and O'Neill offer creative guidance and advice to tailor a service that best honours your loved one. Whether a large gathering or a small, intimate service, Farrell and O'Neill share their generations of experience in tailoring a unique and meaningful farewell. Proudly SA family-owned and operated, because it's personal.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. Tilers, there's never been a better time to buy National Tiles cutting machines. Why? Because between now and the end of the financial year, National Tiles has super deals on all our tile cutting and other machines. And Tilers, you get a 100% tax write-off if you buy your National Tile machines before the end of June. So all Tilers, rush into National Tiles now and save. Conditions apply.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A shower or two, 15 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Don't miss the $4 million grand prize at Henley Beach. Only days remain. Homelottery.com.au.
A car has been driven into shoppers in Berlin, a short distance from the site of a 2016 terror attack. Ellie Walsh has more.
The crime scene stretches more than 2 blocks after a car ploughed into a crowd of people on a busy Berlin sidewalk, killing a female teacher on a school excursion and injuring 14 students travelling with her. Police arresting the 29-year-old driver at the scene, the same area where 12 people were killed in a devastating 2016 terrorist attack. And while this motive is not yet clear, police believe it was deliberate.
The cost of fresh produce has skyrocketed across SA. Nationwide shortages have seen some stores charging $9 for a single iceberg lettuce. Wet weather here and floods in Queensland are to blame. Local grower Dino Mussolino says the industry is also dealing with staff shortages.
We're having all sorts of problems trying to find people to fill the positions that we have, and our positions are not just short-term, they're long-term positions, but we've got to open up immigration to get those migrants coming back to Australia and wanting to take horticulture as a career path rather than just a job.
Jacinda Ardern will arrive in Australia today. New Zealand's Prime Minister will become the first foreign leader to be hosted by the new Labor government. She'll fly into Sydney ahead of an informal dinner tonight and bilateral meetings tomorrow. Australia's controversial deportation laws, security, trade and climate change will be top of the agenda. An 11-year-old survivor of the Uvalde school shooting has shared her story with US Congress. Alison Petrowski reports.
Mia Cirio described how she survived the massacre by smearing herself in her friend's blood and playing dead. Her father Miguel testifying to the House Oversight Committee that the shooting had robbed his daughter of her innocence.
She's not the same little girl that I used to play with. Schools are not safe anymore. Something needs to really change.
The House is set to begin debate on a package of gun restrictions aimed at preventing future mass shootings, including background checks, red flag laws to potentially identify dangerous owners, and raising the purchasing age for assault weapons from 18 to 21.
Dental experts are advising Australians who've had COVID to replace their toothbrush if they haven't already. A new study by James Cook University has found people may be unknowingly spreading the virus to other household members if they share a toothbrush container. Professor John Abbott says the virus can stick around for longer than you might think.
Some studies suggest that the toothbrush should be disinfected after cleaning the teeth. This is also, if you've got COVID, the COVID virus can stay on the toothbrush bristles for up to 3 days. In some studies, it's up to 21 days.
The state's last dine-in Pizza Hut is shutting up shop. The Marion store will close in the last week of June. The site has been earmarked for redevelopment. And the Munsters are back. The first trailer for a new movie based on the 60s TV series has been released. The film will be out later this year. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
10-year warranty and 10-year capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Now, with everything footy, it's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Port Adelaide coach Ken Hinckley has dismissed reports linking him to the vacant GWS coaching job. He says he would like to turn the tables on reporters and do a reverse press conference.
Where we get to ask the questions of the media people who float these ideas and put them out there, and then we have to somehow defend them, which is unfair on us because we don't create that headline, but they don't realise what that headline can do in an environment that I work in and live in, and unsettling towards my team and my players.
The Power take on Richmond tonight in a must-win match at the MCG. They've made one change with Sam Hayes coming out of the side while defender Lockie Jones comes in. Meantime, Melbourne captain Max Gawn says he's embarrassed by the fight between teammates Stephen May and Jake Melksham. Well, Cameron Munster has produced a State of Origin masterclass to lead the Maroons to a 16 to 10 point win over the Blues. New South Wales must now win Game 2 in Perth to keep the series alive. Australia has won its T20 series against Sri Lanka, taking Game 2 by 3 wickets in Colombo. Fast bowlers Kane Richardson and Jai Richardson taking 7 wickets between them as both produced their best ever figures. Meantime, Pakistan has beaten the West Indies by 5 wickets in their first one-day international clash. And it's full-time in UEFA Nations League matches this morning. Belgium belting Poland 6-1. The Netherlands got up 2-1 against Wales, while the Ukraine beat Ireland 1-0. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Hitachi Air Conditioners. Be comfortable all year round. Visit hitachieaircon.com.au.
15 for your Thursday with a shower or two. Showers tomorrow 16, 15 again on Saturday with a shower or two. Right now it's 11 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Some days are hot. Others, freezing. But with an Hitachi air conditioner in your home, you can be comfortable all year round. Hitachi has a wide range of inverter wall-mounted, ducted and multi-split systems to suit any home. Plus, selected models come with a 6-year warranty. So don't just get any air conditioner. Get what Hitachi has. Visit hitachieaircon.com.au now to find your local specialist installer.
Everybody's talking about Montane. Miles Fitzner here. It's all happening at Mount Barker Ford with the all-new next-generation Ford Ranger on sale now. With the class-leading V6 turbo engine and technology you have to drive to believe. To enhance your test drive experience, dealer principal James Benford has arranged coffee and cake on us in the Adelaide Hills. So come for a test drive today of the next-gen Ranger, and don't forget the impressive 5-year Ford-back warranty on all Ford vehicles. Visit Mount Barker Ford today.
MVD 182170.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
23 minutes to 7. What are we at? The 9th of June. And a big congratulations on this day to what will soon be, or now is, Nono Paul from McGill, a regular texter and contributor to the program, who said, so excited, I'm becoming a nono for the first time. My little baby Madeline went into labour last night at the very hospital she was born in 29 years ago.
Wow.
Paul, congratulations to you, mate. That's fantastic news.
Him and Rowie in the same week.
Absolutely.
What about that?
There you go. This is why we're talking about the growth of the suburbs in South Australia.
Exactly.
Lucy has done an excellent job and found me the Greater Adelaide Capital City Statistical Area as considered by the ABS. So this is the official government, how they count Adelaide, right? So this is where it is as of today. In the north, the boundary, and none of these are straight lines, so you'll have to bear with me for the sake of brevity. Two Wells and Gawler in the north. Just shy of Roseworthy is probably the northernmost point. It's actually the northernmost point of Adelaide is level with Tanunda, but doesn't include Tanunda. If you consider it in terms of how far north you go, the Barossa Valley is not considered part of Adelaide, so it cuts in, and the furthest north, the easternmost point is actually sort of close to Mount Pleasant, but doesn't quite take you into Mount Pleasant. The easternmost point is probably the as far east as you can get in Mount Barker as well, over the hills, but not as far as Murray Bridge, which falls outside of Adelaide on that side. You get to the southern...
So the hills are counted?
The hills are all counted as part of Adelaide.
By the ABS?
By the ABS. South, McLaren Vale, 100% a part of Adelaide.
Yeah, right, okay.
You get in the southwest, it probably is level with Mount Compass, but doesn't actually include Mount Compass, if you know what I mean. The southernmost point hugs the beach a little bit, but doesn't get as far as Yankalilla.
Maiponga in or out?
Maiponga would be right on the boundary, I think.
Yeah.
It's a bit hard to tell with this map, but it would be right on the boundary. But that's sort of...
So Sellex is part of Adelaide?
Sellex is part of Adelaide, according to the ABS.
Anyway. A lot of great texts here as well. Just about how the city's changed over the last few decades. Andrew from Blackwood says, my uncle told me that as kids they used to pull up on Blacks Road and Flagstaff Hill and go camping over the weekend. That's amazing. Actually, I can remember going there in a go-kart when all the new housing was being built. Dad built me a go-kart in the 70s. And there were no houses there, but they'd put in all of the roads.
Oh, fantastic.
So we had the roads to ourselves in this old go-kart that he made with some beautiful hydraulic pram wheels. It was a thing to behold. Deb from South Plimpton says, I remember in the 70s sliding down clay mounds that are now West Lakes. How long did those clay paddocks exist in between Grange and Semaphore? And Michelle says, my parents built a house in Beaumont in 1960. Just after they put electricity there, we had a dirt road in front and a septic toilet for the first couple of years while we were there. Good on you, Michelle. Thanks.
All right, 5AA's best of essays about celebrating and profiling some of the great brands in our state. Today, we're celebrating our great friends at the FIVEAA Milk Company. We spoke to them just the other day on World Milk Day. So for your chance to win a $100 FIVEAA Milk Company voucher, plus 2 tickets to our Best of SA dinner, which is next Friday, the 17th of June, Adelaide Oval. Give us a call right now on 8223 0055. FIVEAA Milk Company produces real milk the way it used to taste, farm to table within hours.
I'm at one of my favourite places, the Adelaide Central Market, at stall 16, FIVEAA Milk Company, and I'm with a real-life dairy farmer, Barry Clark. Now, you've probably heard Barry's voice on 5AA. He's been doing all the commercials. Barry, you've been out milking this morning. I bet it was very, very nippy.
Yeah, no, it's quite cool this morning.
How did the company all start?
Look, started nearly 16 years ago now. It started because we were getting paid very poorly for our milk, so we thought we'd try bottling it and selling it, and luckily the South Australian consumers have really looked after us, and it's really gone ahead.
And you have more than just milk now. One of my favourite products is your passion fruit yogurt. Amazing on my muesli every morning. You've really diversified.
Yeah, we have diversified into yogurt and flavoured milks, as well as the white milk, lactose-free, low-fat. Yeah, just a bigger range now.
What is it about your product that really makes it stand out on the supermarket shelf?
I think probably the fact that it's South Australian owned and produced, and we keep the milk as fresh as possible.
Now, there's 8 farms that are part of the FIVEAA Milk Company. How many cows are in that total herd?
Total cow numbers are around about the 1,600 mark.
And do you have a favourite cow?
Yeah, no, I do have a favourite. I've got 300 jerseys at home, and Aria, who's been seen on TV, she's my favourite. Yeah, she's special.
Hey, look, thanks for being part of Best of SA, and all the best for the future. And I've got to say, Barry, you are getting much better at the commercials.
Thank you. No, we're very proud to be involved. Thank you.
And congrats to Andrew in Paralawi, who's coming along to a Best of SA. Looking forward to seeing you on the night, Andrew.
On you, Andrew.
As you've heard in 5AA News over the course of the morning, it's the end of an era in South Australia.
Welcome back to the place you're always at home. Pizza Hut, there's a welcome for everyone. There ain't a better pizza. There ain't a better pizza. And we just want to please you. We just want to please you. It comes with a smile and the Pizza Hut style. Welcome back.
I don't remember the welcome back Cotter Pizza Hut ad.
No, neither do I.
But,
when you started playing that jingle, I thought, well, we're going to talk about old Horseshack and Vinnie Barbarino and Epstein.
What a show.
That was a great show.
Fantastic.
John Travolta got his start in
John
that show.
Travolta, of course. No, that was an ad from the 90s. When I reckon it felt like there were Pizza Hut restaurants everywhere in Adelaide. Well, there's not anymore. The Marion was the last standalone Pizza Hut. You can still get Pizza Hut pizzas from places in shopping centres, basically, food courts and things like that. But the last standalone restaurant at Marion is closing its doors.
Oh, no. Well, I reckon that was the first one.
The 27th of June, they've put out a statement on their social media saying it's with great sadness we have to announce that our Marion Pizza Hut restaurant will be permanently closing from Tuesday, June 27. Unfortunately, with long-term plans to redevelop the site, we've made the tough decision to close after 44 years in the brand. Wanted to thank every past employee and all of our customers for supporting us over this journey. We still have 3 weeks to go, and you can still book in and get in before it closes.
I got to say, I find that sad, and I feel in a way like the company might have brought it upon itself, because for a long time, I'd love to hear from listeners. I reckon we'd have listeners, particularly women, who had their first part-time job working as a waitress at Pizza Hut.
Yep.
Because it was actually an experience going to Pizza Hut. They were famous for their checked red and white tablecloths.
Yep.
And they were beautiful, like Italian restaurant-style cloth tablecloths, not plastic crappy stuff that your arm sticks to. And you'd go in there and you'd get table service, you'd get menus given to you. It wasn't just pizzas. They had those fantastic pizza subs.
Subway, yeah.
Terrific.
I reckon
the olive on the stick in it.
When I was in primary school, I think every kid's birthday I went to was at Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
It's just sort of a
it was
standard,
great.
Which Pizza Hut's it at?
Yeah. And you'd get like ice cream cakes and stuff like that.
Or you can eat desserts.
Yeah. But for years, I mean, there's one up on Pulteney Street for a while. It's like a hole in the wall.
Mm.
It seems to exist purely so that cabbies can buy a slice of something at 11 o'clock
I think
at
that's
night.
the business model these days.
Just home delivery.
It seems to be. Dine-in pizza. How many places do dine-in pizza now?
Only, more high-end places like Melt and Pizza Bianca and places like that.
Yeah, they're not, but there's no sort of family restaurant. In fact,
Pizza Lola
how
on
many
Goodwood
family restaurants are there now?
Well, there's no Red Apple, there's no Sizzler, all of those ones are gone.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Hanrahan's on Port Road.
Oh,
We used to
so
always
much more
go
than a
to.
meal.
We used to go there all the time as a family. I just can't. How many? Grandma's used to be on the corner of the bottom of Henley Beach Road and Seaview Road or Military Road. That's not there any longer.
No, they've all vanished. Why have they vanished?
I don't know.
I think it's because people's food tastes have changed a lot.
You tell us, folks. 82230000 or shoot us a text on the Automasters text line if you've got a theory. We sorted out the boundaries of Adelaide. This one will be a piece of cake. Let's check traffic. Thanks to Joyreen Fashions. Ladies, Joyreen's Fashions is closing with all garments now half price at 491 Portrush Road, Glarga.
Good morning, boys. At Brooklyn Park, Sir Donald Bradburn Drive has detours in place for city-bound due to a burst water main near Marion Road. Expect a few delays there. Also at Brooklyn Park, a smash on Henley Beach Road at Marion Road. Edwardstown, road plates causing a hazard South Road near Finesse Avenue, speeds reduced. And McGill intersection upgrade works there, McGill Road near St Bernard's Road. Busy South Road as you're driving through Karata Park with a camera Anzac Highway at Ashford. Get $20 off at Coles when you spend $250 or more online. Ends June 14. Head to coles.com.au and use promo code TAKE20, T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
G'day, it's Mark Bickley. For most business PC brands, a 4-hour service guarantee means they'll call you back in 4 hours. But at Leader Computers, a 4-hour service guarantee on Leader's business range means they'll come to your worksite and have you back in business inside 4 hours. Leader Computers are local, made here in Adelaide with better service, better support and speedy turnaround times. Live life local. Live life Leader. Leader Computers. Find your local dealer at leadersystems.com.au.
We lost Dad to prostate cancer.
Breast cancer nearly took Mum away.
My little brother is living with leukemia.
My pa caught his bowel cancer early.
Make your donation as personal as your story. You can target the cancer that's hurt you most with Cancer Council SA. Learn more or donate at cancersa.org.au.
Now, landlords, we've got some exciting news. Toop and Toop have just launched a brand new solution, and it gives you exclusive access to pre-screen tenants up to 2 months in advance. You can secure quality tenants before incurring hundreds of dollars in advertising costs. The new innovation is a total game changer, and it could save you hundreds of dollars.
It's not only landlords that reap the rewards too. It's great for tenants as well. It allows tenants to secure a home up to 2 months sooner and before they become publicly available. Tenants can receive email alerts direct to their inbox, making your rental search so much easier.
It's absolutely brilliant. Such a great concept by our good friends at Toop and Toop, and one that is so needed in today's tight rental climate.
To tap into this incredible network, simply head to toop.com.au.
There's something you should know about SportsMed. We don't just provide knee, hip and shoulder care to elite athletes. Every day, we treat patients who simply want to get play with the kids fit, brisk walk fit or gardening fit. And having our clinic, hospital and specialists all based together at Stepney makes getting care for your joint pain and injuries, from diagnosis to rehabilitation, even easier. So get back to doing what you love. Speak with your GP for a referral. sportsmed.com.au.
If you're due for a service, here's a little reminder of what you get at Mawson Lakes Mazda. Sure, your car gets state-of-the-art servicing by top-trained mechanics. But what do you get? Try next day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash. Oh, and your breakfast or lunch is on us. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, we know that to be the best, we've got to look after your car and look after you. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
9 News has the experience to break the news. Made in Adelaide for Adelaide. 9 News.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
11 to 7, we're off to the US shortly. Let's talk weather first. Tom Bowick, senior forecaster at the Bureau. Morning to you, Tom.
G'day, Dave and Will.
What we might do and get from you, Tom, in addition to today's forecast, is have a bit of a look over the long weekend as well.
Sure thing, no worries. Look, just looking at today, we are starting to get some showers appearing on the radar. There's been 0.2 of a millimetre down at Kaipo Forest to the south of Adelaide there, and it's probably sort of close to raining at Noarlunga at this point in time. So those showers just building up, so are expecting a shower or two today for the Adelaide area, with maximum still on the cool side, 15 for Adelaide, Glenelg, Noarlunga, 13 for Mount Barker, 14 for Elizabeth. And look, some of those showers still around on Friday with a maximum of 16 degrees. For the long weekend, look, there is going to be a little bit of shower activity around, but I think there'll be some lengthy breaks without any showers in there. So the Saturday and Sunday, both 15 degrees. We do have a chance of a shower or two in the forecast, but lengthy periods without any showers. And Monday does look like being a dry day, so pick of the days there. Light winds, a bit of cloud around, but dry conditions and 15 degrees. There is another change for Tuesday, Wednesday next week, with a temperature around 17 degrees, guys.
Lovely. Good stuff, Tom. Thanks for that.
Tom Boak, Senior Forecaster at the Bureau. Let's head to SAPOL. Senior Constable Peter Williams is on the line. Peter, there's been a couple of fires in the southern suburbs.
Yeah, that's right, guys. Good morning. Just before 10 p.m. last night, emergency services were called to Herrings Lane in Happy Valley after reports that a Molotov cocktail had been thrown at a house, which, of course, then sparks the fire. CFS quickly extinguished the blaze, which caused minor damage to the front of the premises, and luckily the occupants weren't injured. Then just before 1:30 this morning, emergency services were called to a home on Valley Fair Road at Hackham West after reports a gold Holden sedan was on fire in the driveway. MFS extinguished that fire, which caused significant damage to the vehicle. Crime scene attended and located a Molotov cocktail near the vehicle, which is believed to have started the fire. Southern District CIB are investigating both fires and investigating if there are any links to the two incidents. Anyone with information in relation to either of the fires is asked to contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
Also, Peter, a drink driver has crashed at Wingfield.
Yeah, that's right. A man's been reported for drink driving following a minor crash at Wingfield last night. Just after 9 p.m, police were called to the intersection of Grand Junction Road and South Road after a Toyota sedan crashed into a metal pole on the medium strip, and thankfully the driver was not injured. However, he was subjected to a breath test and produced allegedly a blood alcohol reading of 0.150, which is 3 times the legal limit. So a 25-year-old man from Burton was reported for drink driving, issued with a 12-month instant loss of licence, and he's been summoned to appear at court at a later date.
Good stuff, Peter. Thanks for that.
Senior Constable Peter Williams from SAPOL. It's coming up to 7 minutes to 7, and it's time to head to the US. David Woyward for 7 News US Bureau. David, good morning to you. We're getting to the point in this story with regard to the Uvalde school shooting where we're beginning to hear from some of the survivors.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, this is an incredibly emotional testimony today in the US Congress, and we heard from young Mia Cirillo. Now, she's just 11 years old, but was inside that grade 4 classroom when the gunman opened fire at Robb Elementary. Look, she has said that her teacher was the first to hear that disturbance in the classroom. She went to lock the classroom door, and it was then that she made eye contact with that gunman. Mia recalls the man then saying goodnight before he shot her teacher in the head. Mia then hid with her classmates. She saw her friends being murdered around her. It was incredibly emotional stuff. But the way she escaped, well, she smeared the blood of her dead classmates on herself. Have a listen.
Thought he was going to come back to the room, so I grabbed the blood and put it all over me. And
what did you do then when you put the blood on yourself?
Just stay quiet.
What's going to come of all this, David? What's the politics of it? Because it feels to me like all the people who recognise the need for change listen to that and get moved, and the ones who actually need to have their opinions swayed deliberately ignore it.
Yeah, it feels like we're heading for a bit of a stalemate. They might get some modest reforms through. Joe Biden's pushing those at the moment. But anything major like restricting the sale of AR-15s to 21-year-olds at the moment, 18-year-olds can buy them, and other things like those red flag laws where courts can then act to try and stop people who might be a danger to themselves and others. Those kind of big-ticket items are very unlikely to get through at this stage. So incredibly sad state of affairs that we've just had this tragedy, this massacre, and then a few weeks later still we have Congress stalled.
Is the NRA conference still going ahead in Texas?
Yeah, that's been done and run. That was the other week. So that was the weekend after that attack. We actually went down there and there was huge protests.
So it still happened?
Out the front of that. It still went, yeah. It still went ahead and it was very well attended as well. And I spoke to a lot of the attendees down there and they couldn't get their heads around. They were looking at those protesters and they were just as confounded as the people on the other side of the fence. So it really shows that political fault line, that divide that's running through the community.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing. We're lucky to live here in Australia. Good on you, David. David Woyward for the 7 News US Bureau. Thanks for that, mate. These reports are always excellent.
Yeah, they are. Some of the testimony in that, a lot of it actually is unbroadcastable or not. It's hard to talk about of a time of day when you first thing get out of bed. But I will say, if you're interested in it, I've not heard an example of a shooting like this where we've got to the point, and I think out of sheer desperation for people, gun control advocates, that the nature of the injuries that people suffered are being spoken about so graphically.
Yeah. No.
But do you recall that before? It feels like a new front in this to me. Where
well, it feels like the families and the school and the community have said this is so bad that people actually really need to know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like a war crime that needs to be documented in a sort of Hague-style way where you've actually used it as a platform for a policy change. But to David's point about because I'm sure a lot of the people going to the NRA thing are actually quite good people.
Yeah.
They're not going to go berserk and shoot you with a gun.
No.
But they just look at it and go, well, hang on, why is what this guy did got anything to do with me?
I heard some interesting analysis.
Why does anyone need what is effectively a machine gun in suburbia?
And you don't know what to think because American media is so polarised. But some analysis that Matthew McConaughey was important because he, being from the area and from Texas, he was saying what a lot of responsible gun owners wanted to be said, but you can't say in the circles you move in.
Yeah, right.
And he was giving voice to that. I thought it was a really interesting point. But on the other side, there was I believe it was a parent who gave evidence to the committee who said basically she was exasperated at what she was hearing because she thinks, why would you take away my right to defend myself against this kind of evil that exists in society?
Yeah.
And that's not an NRA person speaking. That's an actual American. Now, that's what I think is most difficult for Australians to tease out, is that it's not just a lobby that has the view. There are people that have grown up going, well, hang on, do you know what's worse? Is if that gunman comes to me and I don't have a gun.
Well, after all those gay people were shot in that hate crime, I heard this thing on FIVEAA, on the American Public Broadcasting Radio, about how one of the fastest growing categories of gun owners was small L liberals in America.
Yeah.
Where, like, you know, people who are just out and out full-blown gay have gone, well, all right, I'm going to start packing heat.
Yes. Well, this is...
which just shows it's like a sort of mini arms race.
And it's culturally ingrained in a lot of ways, in a way that we don't understand not living there. And there's a capacity for people outside of America to go, well, this is all big money, the NRA, and political ideology, when I think it's actually... If it was that easy, it would have been dealt with in some way. It's harder than that.
Yeah, it is really hard. It's hugely difficult.
2 to 7.
Aged Rights Advocacy Service, ARAS, proudly supports World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, and on June 17 is hosting a Building Resilience World Elder Abuse Awareness Day online forum with key speakers via Zoom. It's a must for aged care service providers, law enforcement workers, health and allied health professionals and the community. There's no excuse for abuse. See it, stop it, prevent it. Find out more about World Elder Abuse Awareness Day and ARAS at sa.agedrights.asn.au.
For over 38 years, Steinborner Automotive has always been well worth a trip. And right now, Steinborners are the place to go for top dollar on your trade-in. They will do any trade, and this month they're offering a further $1,500 bonus on all trade-ins. So go out to one of Steinborner's 8 locations for Hyundai, Mitsubishi, Ford and SA's best range of used cars. View all their used vehicles at steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth a trip.
Where can you get special perks for simply being 50 or over? Sky City, where else? You deserve to be spoilt with free parking and incredible $9.90 meal offers every Thursday and Sunday. Not to mention exclusive happy hours, discounted barista coffees and Friday martinis. Available to bronze and silver Sky City Rewards members 50 or over. Visit skycityadelaide.com.au to find out more.
Sky City, where else?
T's and C's apply. Enjoy responsibly.
Feeling the burn? Save cash with Cheapest Chips Hot Buys.
Cheapest Chips.
Direct from the UK chocolate range, any 2 for $5. Finish Powerball 110 pack, $16.99. Funmakers 150 to 225 gram bags of lollies, 3 for $5. 24 pack Polaroid AAA or AA batteries, only $9.99. Check out this week's catalogue for more hot buys in store and online. Save cash and live cheaper with Cheapest Chips Hot Buys now.
Hi, I'm Victoria from The Family Cook. I'm passionate about cooking wholesome, fresh and delicious meals. We're the only meal delivery service based in South Australia using hand-selected premium ingredients such as free-range chicken, grass-fed beef, Australian fish and locally sourced vegetables and herbs. Our customers love it, and I can guarantee you'll love it too. And we're proudly an NDIS provider. Jump on board thefamilycook.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A shower or two, 15 today with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Don't miss the $4 million grand prize at Henley Beach. Only days remain. Homelottery.com.au.
Molotov cocktails have sparked 2 fires in the southern suburbs. The first was thrown at a house on Herrings Lane at Happy Valley just before 10 last night. It caused minor damage to the front of the premises. Senior Constable Peter Williams says a second incident followed a few hours later.
Then just before 1:30 this morning, emergency services were called to a home on Valley Fair Road at Hackham West after reports a gold Holden sedan was on fire in the driveway. MFS extinguished that fire, which caused significant damage to the vehicle. Crime scene attended and located a Molotov cocktail near the vehicle, which is believed to have started the fire.
Police are investigating if the 2 incidents are linked. More staff are being hired to process the increased number of passport applications being lodged. Daily applications reached a record 16,400 yesterday. Before the pandemic, it was around 8,000 a day. Assistant Foreign Affairs Minister Tim Watts says more than 300 additional staff will be recruited.
Putting more staff in the call centres so people can get an answer about where their application is up to. Importantly, putting a lot more staff in the processing queue so that these applications can be processed more quickly.
COVID vaccination rates in Australia for 5 and 6-year-olds is sitting at less than 50%. Gail Watson has the story.
The latest figures show the majority of parents of 5 and 6-year-olds are choosing not to get their child vaccinated against COVID-19. Children aged 5 to 11 have been eligible for the vaccine since January. The latest federal government data shows just 36% of 5-year-olds have had 1 dose of the vaccine and 24% the second. That increases slightly for 6-year-olds, with 49% getting at least 1 jab. The take-up rate in older primary school age children is higher, with just over 60% of 11-year-olds in Australia receiving their first dose of COVID vaccine.
Security has been stepped up in Berlin after a car ploughed into pedestrians. A 51-year-old teacher has died and at least 14 school children have been injured. A 29-year-old German-Armenian man drove full throttle into shoppers twice mid-morning local time. It's only a short distance from where an Islamist extremist killed 12 in 2016 when a van went into a Christmas market. Former Hollywood film producer Harvey Weinstein will be charged with 2 counts of indecent assault against a woman in the UK. Airlie Walsh reports from London.
He's already been convicted of sex crimes in New York and is currently awaiting trial in Los Angeles on rape charges. But now the British authorities have pounced, authorising charges against Harvey Weinstein. Police will allege a woman, now aged in her 50s, was indecently assaulted in London in 1996. It's not yet known if the disgraced producer will be extradited to face the charges.
2 all-star concerts will be held in September to honour Foo Fighters drummer Taylor Hawkins, who died back in March. The shows will take place at London's Wembley Stadium and the Forum in Los Angeles. And an American couple have been banned for life from the famous Spanish Steps in Rome after they drove their e-scooters down them, one of the tourists then throwing her scooter the rest of the way. A number of the marble steps were cracked, the damage bill topping $26,000. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
New Mitsubishi Triton with 10-year warranty, 10-year capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Tonight looms as season-defining for Port Adelaide as they prepare to take on Richmond at the MCG. The Power have elected not to play Sam Hayes, meaning they'll enter the clash without a recognised ruckman. Well, more details are emerging from the fight that broke out between Melbourne teammates Stephen May and Jake Melksham at a Melbourne restaurant. There are now reports May was having a crack at several teammates and that Melksham was defending Joel Smith after May taunted him for missing the grand final because of injury while he played himself with a sore hamstring. Mark Robinson and Gerard Whateley discussing the issue on AFL 360, saying there could be a major divide between players as a result of the incident.
I've never thought that there could be a divide.
So if May was chipping away at Smith as, oh, well, I played with a nick in my hamstring and you missed, and if he said something even remotely like what had been reported around Melksham, there's your fracture.
You're going to hate this, but he deserves a clip. I know violence is not the answer, but my God.
That audio thanks to Fox. To cricket now, and Matthew Wade was named player of the match as Australia made it 2 from 2 in their T20 series against Sri Lanka. Australia beating the home side by 3 wickets. The third and final match will be played on Saturday. And the controversial Live Tour, which has Saudi Arabian money backing the tour, will begin tonight in London. Dustin Johnson and Phil Mickelson are reportedly being paid hundreds of millions of dollars just to play, while there are now reports major winners Bryson DeChambeau and Patrick Reed will also join the tour. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Help SAMRI's life-saving research. Join the Bright Walk July 23rd. Register at samribright.org.au.
At Brooklyn Park, burst water main this morning, Sir Donald Rabbit Drive near Marion Road. That's closed city-bound at the moment with detours in place. Expect delays, avoid if you can. Also at Brooklyn Park, a smash on Henley Beach Road at Marion Road. Woodville North, collision there, Hanson Road at 9th Avenue, and Edwardstown Road plates causing a hazard on South Road near Finesse Avenue. Speeds reduced. Busy at the moment, South Road through Karata Park. And we've got cameras, Dawes Road, Melrose Park, and Hillier Road at Evanston. Anaconda stock clear out sale is on now, up to 50% off a huge range of outdoor gear. Some exclusions apply. Play more, pay less at Anaconda. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Hitachi Air Conditioners. Be comfortable all year round. Visit hitachieaircon.com.au.
15 for your Thursday with a shower or two. Showers tomorrow 16, 15 again on Saturday. Right now it's 11. More news as it happens on 5AA.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
Seven minutes after 7. We've got tickets to our MasterChef dinner with Andy Allen to give away in the next half hour on the program. Stay listening, your chance to come along. Have some fun in the process too, because David's been whipping up a recipe over there. I can see notes being written and foodstuffs being devised. And if you can tell what it is, you'll be coming along on the Tuesday night.
I tell you what, you wouldn't want to make a dish at the moment involving cheese and lettuce, would you?
Well, not unless you're
and butter.
Obscenely rich.
Yeah. My son Jim showed me last night that some kid on a TikTok has done a fake eBay ad for a half-eaten lettuce, and he's posted it, saying still in pristine condition, still in the bag. Half of it's been sliced off, and he's listed it on Instagram, on eBay for sale on eBay for $400.
You might, give it a couple of weeks. Right. It might look like a good option.
Exactly.
Oh, I thought this was a really interesting story in the Tizer this morning.
I feel the earth move under my feet.
We periodically get these updates on how big a earthquake scenario we're sitting on here in Adelaide. Scientists from Geoscience Australia, alongside with researchers and students from the University of Melbourne and the Seismology Research Centre, have excavated 2 large trenches to expose the Wollonga Fault, 40 k's south of Adelaide. What they're doing at the moment is updating Geoscience Australia's National Seismic Hazard Assessment. So they're trying to work out how big they can be, how often they're going to be, and where earthquakes will take place in Australia. And what they found about Adelaide and South Australia is pretty remarkable. So what they've discovered is new evidence of large earthquakes in our past. And the head of the research, geologist Dr. Dan Clark, said they calculate that the 55 k's active length of the fault could potentially host an earthquake as large as magnitude 7.2. Now, 7.2, how big's that? It's 30 times the energy released by the earthquake that tore down buildings in Christchurch. And they've said that's the high end of what could be expected here. Now, that's concerning, but to put it in perspective, the researchers have said it's the kind of thing that would happen once every 1,000 years or so. The version of the earthquake that happened back in the 50s here in Adelaide would take place every couple of 100 years. And then, of course, we're getting all smaller faults and little rumbles every few decades. But there is the capacity for something significant.
The online version of the Advertiser's story is terrific because it's got the the front page of the Times are from March the 1st, 1954, and obviously it's the very front page. Oh, sorry, it's the news. Quake hits many homes. Terrified people run into streets. Masonry crashes. 5 homes beyond repair. Then the intro says, an earthquake rocked Adelaide and a large area of South Australia for 20 seconds from 3:40 a.m. yesterday. Tens of thousands of men, women and children were momentarily terrified by the noise of their trembling homes. It created a massive run on local insurance companies at the time. One woman who was quoted in the article said that a 40-pound lump of rock hit her pillow while she was asleep.
Wow.
40 pounds. I wonder if any of our listeners can remember that earthquake.
I bet they can. 54?
1954, yeah.
I bet we'll have listeners that can. 8223 0000. Tell us what it's like. The seismology people are trying to get us prepared for the scenario, but it's nothing better than lived experience. Give us a call if you were there and you have memories of the 1954 earthquake. There's an earthquake that's taking place in golf at the moment. You heard Tom Wren talk about it a little bit earlier. The inaugural Live Golf Invitational is set to start, featuring Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson, Sergio Garcia. This is the breakaway Saudi tournament that is essentially seeing some of the biggest names in the sport say we're willing to no longer participate in the PGA Tour and things like the Ryder Cup because the money on offer for this Saudi tournament is just too great. The Telegraph in the UK reporting Dustin Johnson's getting $150 million even before competing. Phil Mickelson, the suggestion is he's getting over $200 million. Rennie told us earlier, just shy of $300 million that he's getting to play in the tournament. Now, that's all good and well, and I think typically we would say to sports people, if you can get it, go for it. Good on you. The problem is here it's being bankrolled by the Saudi government with a more than checkered very recent human rights history and human rights record, which has led to some pretty difficult questions being asked of golfers. And what we've done is put together some of what was, I think for sports people, about as tough as a press conference and series of questioning as you can get. So have a listen. You get a bit of a sample of the questioning and some of the responses they were getting about taking this money.
Is there anywhere in the world you wouldn't play? If Vladimir Putin had a tournament, would you play there?
That's speculation. Not even going to comment on speculation.
Well, you're just asking us to answer a hypothetical question there, which...
Well, they're moral questions, aren't they?
Answer a question on that. I understand that many people have very strong opinions and may disagree with my decision. And I can empathize with that. At this time, this is an opportunity that gives me a chance to have the most balance in my life going forward, and I think this is going to do a lot of good for the game.
This is what they call sports washing. The Saudi government, they bought their sovereign wealth fund is what's bankrolling all of this. They bought the Newcastle Football Club in the English Premier League as well, and have given them access to an incredible amount of wealth that'll put them among the biggest clubs in the world without doubt. But the process is to generate a sort of affection for Saudi Arabia through their creation of these massive tournaments and contributions to sport that soften their image effectively. I got to say, on a human level, though, I struggle with the assessment on this. They're talking about sums of money that mean these people, their families going into the imaginable future will never have to work again.
But doesn't it just show they've just been totally bought off by just the staggering amount of money?
Yes, it does.
Where you think, it's almost like some sort of, it's a bit like that movie with Robert Redford, what's it called? Indecent Proposal. Like,
yeah.
How much money would you be prepared to take as a couple in order for your wife to sleep with another bloke?
Yeah. It is like that.
It's in that framework, isn't it?
It is. But we play against Saudi Arabia in sports. They're playing in the Premier League now.
Well, we play
is it up to these guys to take a stand?
Yeah, well, it's a good.
I don't know because I don't feel comfortable. I don't like it. I hate that these guys are doing this.
We trade with them.
This is the fundamental.
We trade.
They are our ally in the region.
Yeah, well, exactly.
They are the United States' big ally in the region. Our leaders and our politicians don't take a stand against these guys, but we want the golfers to. And I say all that. I wish none of these guys did this. I hate that they've done it.
Yeah.
But I sort of go, well, are we looking to our golfers or our politicians for leadership?
Yeah. I mean, it's only, 2 years ago that they let women drive. There's all sorts of things you can criticise them for.
Khashoggi, the journalist, who they brutally
killed him inside the embassy.
I mean, I think the whole thing is grotesque, but I think it's difficult on an individual human level.
Well, the thing though is, if you broaden it out, why, if these guys are so morally bankrupt for doing it, why did we go and play soccer in Russia? Or why did we take part in the Beijing Olympics, given what's happening to the Uyghurs? And the Tibetans and the Hong Kongers? But it's also an argument for going, oh, well, it's all too hard. Let's just never do anything about it.
I don't feel like there's a good answer here.
No, I agree with you.
And maybe that's a cop-out too. I just know what our listeners think. 82230000. Are they sellouts? Or is it...
Well, it does show every man has his price.
Absolutely.
And Phil Mickelson's the best example of that.
His price at least was a big one.
Yeah, well, $277 million. I mean, I don't know what I'd do in that position. I don't know. Are they setting up any breakfast radio shows over there in Saudi Arabia? Because we have transportable skills, Will.
Well, we can do outside broadcasts now. Right. What about, would you work for Russia Today for $270 million?
We could do Halal Meat Tray Friday. What about that?
Russia Today. That's an actual real example that Western journalists face.
Well, Russia Today is absolutely jam-packed, mainly with Brits who've gone there and just taken the rubles and just do the worst brand of yellow journalism about how the Nazis of eastern Ukraine are finally being brought to account by the brave Russian soldiers. Yeah. It's like unbelievable. But, you know, as we said, every man has his price.
Vienna Zoo is wanting to introduce a wombat. There's a campaign to get the marsupial to the Schönbrunn Zoo. There's a few hundred...
A wombat?
Yeah.
Like they specifically said they want a wombat?
Yeah, there's a few hundred people, activists, that gathered at the kangaroo enclosure at the zoo on the weekend.
Saying we want a wombat.
We want a wombat, and we want it now.
What do we want? Wombat!
Apparently, there's a movement on there. A campaign spokesperson, Barbara Beer, spoke to 3AW Breakfast in Melbourne about the bush that is gaining momentum.
Because they're just the cutest animals you can imagine, and I personally think that it really looks like my cat.
There's a lot to unpack there. Barbara Beer.
Barbara Beer. She sounds like she had about 20 beers. She wants a wombat because it looks like a cat, and she's organised a protest about it. These might be the craziest people on planet Earth.
I'm stunned.
Can you imagine anyone here like going down to the zoo holding a protest saying, you know, we want a golden agouti or a capybara or a tape. We've already got tapirs at the zoo. They're pretty good.
People for wombats in Austria. It's a movement. And Elaine in Woodville remembers the 1954 earthquake here in Adelaide. Morning to you, Elaine.
Good morning. Yes, I do remember it. We lived in Ardrossan on York Peninsula, and my mother heard the sound and said to my dad about it, don't worry about it, it's only Head's truck starting up. And within about a second, he had her out of bed and us out of bed and outside.
Oh, Elaine, can you remember
the noise that
how long
came in from the sea was horrific?
So you're a long way away from it in Ardrossan?
Yes. And it was a horrific noise that came in, and we were in an old stone house, and you could see the sand running down the walls.
Wow. Was it shaking for long, Elaine?
Not very long, no, but it was enough to scare the daylights out of you.
Yeah. It's extraordinary.
That's amazing, all the way from Ardrossan.
Yeah, across the Gulf.
Elaine, thank you. Let's give Elaine a 5AA Breakfast Keep Cup for calling in with a story about the 1954 earthquake. Thank you for that, Elaine. We're going to check traffic, and when we come back, we'll have some MasterChef tickets to give away as well. And David's got a recipe that he can't wait to read out. So that's coming up in a moment.
Slightly trickier today.
Okay.
Only slightly.
Oh, good. We'll get the discerning home chef.
It's the start of a recipe. It's a recipe with lots of ingredients. But I reckon when you hear these three, you go, oh, yeah, okay, there's only one thing you'd be making with that, probably.
Joreen Fashions. Ladies, Joreen Fashions is closing with all garments now half price at 491 Portrush Road, Glenunga.
Thanks, Will. At Brooklyn Park, burst water main, Sir Donald Brabham Drive near Marion Road. That's closed city-bound at the moment with detours in place. Expect delays, avoid if you can. Also at Brooklyn Park, a smash on Henley Beach Road at Marion Road. Woodville North, another collision, Hanson Road at 9th Avenue. And McGill, intersection upgrade works going slow at the moment, McGill Road near St Bernard's Road. Cameras to look out out for Anglevale Road, Evanston Gardens and Bradley Grove at Mitchell Park. 5 crispy chicken strips for $5 at a Porto. 5 100% crispy chicken strips with a dipping sauce for just $5. Limited time only. Order in store or take away now. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Leon Biner.
The Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese. Prime Minister, thank you for coming on today and welcome. What do you reckon is the most important challenge for you at this time?
The big challenge is cost of living. Cost of living pressures have been building up for a long period of time.
9 till 12 weekdays.
We have a crisis in energy prices now.
Yes.
The price of everything is going up. We will take whatever action we can.
As SA as Leon Biner. As SA as AA.
Hello, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, the team at Lynn Andrews Real Estate have made it easy to manage residential and commercial property. Whether you own a single residential home or multiple commercial properties, our passion for property investment means we have a great deal of knowledge to share. How to invest safely and properly. Matching the right tenant with the right property every time. We're here to help. Visit lynandrews.com.au.
Don't wait any longer to live mortgage-free in beachside luxury. Purchase your tickets in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery by midnight tomorrow, and you could soon be living large. Imagine collecting the keys to your fully furnished Scott Salisbury home in Henley Beach that comes with $1 million. This is your last chance. The absolute final deadline is midnight tomorrow. Get your tickets now at homelottery.com.au. Licence M141166.
Here at 5AA, we're all about supporting local. Get set for Adelaide Cabaret Festival, the biggest cabaret festival in the world, June 10 to 25 at Adelaide Festival Centre. Book now at adelaidecabaretfestival.com.
Do you want to win the value of your car service back? Book your service online at North Point Toyota, and one lucky person per month has the chance to have the cost of their service paid back. Book your service online at North Point Toyota and you'll automatically be entered into the draw for your chance to have your service paid back. It's the North Point way. Hillcrest, Prospect, Port Augusta or northpointtoyota.com.au. Some T's and C's apply.
Looking for huge savings on tiles, taps, vanities, even the loo? Look no further than Beaumont's. With so much on sale, you'll save a fortune on tiles, bathroomware, hybrid flooring, and yeah, even the loo. With so much on sale, you'll be happy you chose Beaumont's.
If you have been approved a home care package through My Aged Care or NDIS, then listen to Julia.
Mum used her care package funding and purchased a care alert to protect her while alone at home. If Mum fell or had a sudden illness, the care alert would come to her rescue so quickly. The best device she's ever owned, and it didn't cost her a cent. The team at Care Alert made it all so easy.
Use your funding wisely and give yourself real peace of mind. Visit carealert.com.au or call 1300 75 85 95.
9 News has the experience to break the news. Made in Adelaide for Adelaide. 9 News. David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
23 after 7. We've got tickets to give away to our big MasterChef dinner. This is going to be fun. Andy Allen, former winner, judge, cooking royalty, really. He's going to be with us at Melt Henley on a special evening. Thanks to MasterChef fans and favourites, 7:30 Sunday to Thursday, 10 and 10 play on demand. David's got some ingredients for you. Your first person to call through on 8223 0000 with the right recipe, and you'll be coming along on the big 9.
Now, this is a dish you'd normally buy rather than make, because it's a process and it's something which, and I'll throw in a clue here, the Malaysian people have got a monopoly on how you make this. But if you had these 3 ingredients, I reckon there's only one thing you would end up making. Coconut milk, Hokkien noodles, the yellow ones, and chicken.
Okay.
What are you making with that?
What are you making? 8223 0000. Call in now. First caller through will get the tickets to come along to our MasterChef dinner at Melt Henley. It's going to be a really fun night. Andy Allen will be there. All thanks to MasterChef fans and favourites. 7:30 Sunday to Thursday on 10 and 10 play on demand. We did a version of this with Andre previously. It's sort of an intimate dinner. Right. It's not the cast of thousands. Just all of us sitting around one table.
It's good. It's very, very chatty, very informal.
Be very pleasant.
A lot of fun. That was on Kensington Road there, wasn't it? A couple of years ago.
We did it also, didn't we?
Yeah. It's terrific.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, beautiful restaurant.
8223 coming up after 7:30 this morning. Matt Abraham is going to join us. We'll dissect the spin of the week. And remember, Thursday's Smeg Day. That's all you need to know about a Thursday morning on 5AA Breakfast. We've got another Smeg appliance to give away.
Oh, yes.
Dish defines the suburb coming up in about 20 minutes' time. Mark in Richmond, good morning.
G'day, how are you?
Good, thanks, Mark. What's the dish, Mark?
Luxor.
Yes!
Congratulations to you, Mark.
Have you got a go-to Luxor venue, mate?
Anything that's hot.
Yeah, anything that's hot. That's the right answer. Good on you, Mark. Thank you. You're coming along. We'll have another chance to win tickets tomorrow morning on 5AA Breakfast. Let's talk sport because there is a big game on tonight. Tim Jennifer, David Wilde will be calling all the action on 5AA from this evening. Port, this is the month that will define the season. Ultimately, it's all riding on this next 4 weeks. Book your service online at North Point Toyota to win the cost back. It is the North Point way. And last night, Rowie and Tim Jennifer were talking about this Port Ruck decision.
Breaking news, 205 centimetre, 7-game Port Ruckman Sam Hayes is out. He is crook. He has influenza. He did not get on the plane to Melbourne. He missed the captain's run. To tell us all about it, Port great Timmy G. Timmy, it's not ideal.
Oh no, the influenza that's going around, as we know it, the flu, that's actually knocked a few out. And I know young Butters struggled earlier in the year, and it took him quite a while to recover and get back on his feet to full strength. So it does, I suppose, in the greasy conditions, give him an opportunity to have a look at a different lineup.
And what would you do? So Finlayson's 197. They've been rucking Sam Powell-Pepper as a pinch hitter. Does Charlie Dixon come into the equation now?
2 Mondays ago, we were chanting it.
You
Chuck
did.
in ruck. Chuck
you did.
in ruck.
Yeah.
I think it's got to happen. It's going to happen. And it's exciting because I think he got that game. He's had a week off. He got another game. He's had another week off. I think the conditioning now should just about be there. Look, we're not asking him to do 90% in ruck, but we're probably asking him to do 40%. And in those conditions, in the hustle and bustle he's up against, Nankervis and, say, a Bolto, you need somebody who's strength and aggressive, like Charlie, to get in amongst it when you need to turn the game. And he's the guy.
It makes for a fascinating contest tonight. Actually, we were saying this with Rennie briefly earlier. I love it when teams do something a little bit weird. Now, this is sometimes necessity's the mother of invention, and that seems to be the case with Port Adelaide tonight. But it'll throw a different look at Richmond, and the conditions, as Tim Jennifer said, if you're ever going to get away with it, you're going to get away with it when it's a little bit greasy. And it gives you a bit more mobility around the ball. And experiments of this kind in the ruck have borne fruit previously. The question is, can you keep it up over the course of a year? No. But as a one-off, sometimes you can stuff things around for the opposition midfield. To deal with someone that's a lot more mobile, someone that's your entire midfield knows you're roving to the other ruckman. I don't mind it. It's going to make a tantalising clash tonight, and as I say, you can hear it all on 5AA.
Huge game for Port. You're going to find out if they're the real deal or not tonight, because they haven't really beaten anyone of note yet. There's a lot riding on it. The next 3 weeks, they're going to let Port fans know if they're a chance or not. And and I'd say tonight will of itself tell that story.
It's going to be good. Thursday night football, love it. All right, book your service online, North Point Toyota, to win the cost back. It is the North Point way.
Hi, I'm Victoria from The Family Cook. I'm passionate about cooking wholesome, fresh and delicious meals. We're the only meal delivery service based in South Australia using hand-selected premium ingredients such as free-range chicken, grass-fed beef, Australian fish and locally sourced vegetables and herbs. Our customers love it, and I can guarantee you'll love it too. And we're proudly an NDIS provider. Jump on board thefamilycook.com.au.
G'day, it's Mark Bickley. Well, it's tax time. The absolute best time to get in touch with your Leader Computers reseller, especially if you run a business. Order and install your new Leader PC before June 30 to get a significant tax deduction, plus amazing pricing from Leader. And with Leader Computers, you're dealing with a true SA company with outstanding local customer support. Live life local. Live life Leader this tax time. Visit leadersystems.com.au to find your closest Leader reseller.
$1 mattress upsize deal now at Harvey Norman. Purchase a selected Australian-made queen-size mattress from King Coil, Sealy Posturepedic, Sleepmaker or Beauty Rest, and for $1 more, upgrade to a king size. Plus 60 months interest-free, no deposit, no interest from Latitude with 60 approximately equal monthly payments, and receive a bonus gift card up to $1,000. Finance only available if you have or are approved for a participating Latitude credit card. Minimum financed amount $1,000. See T's and C's. Interest applies for non-compliance. Fees and product exclusions apply. Now at Harvey Norman.
I'm Kathy Nagel, the Chief Executive Officer of Western Hospital at Henley Beach. Did you know that Western Hospital specialists are some of the most experienced in South Australia? We've handpicked our surgeons and physicians to ensure you are cared for in a compassionate and trusted environment. Your health is our priority as we provide care in our one-stop healthcare hub. For more information on our specialist team of surgeons and physicians, visit westernhospital.com.au. Your hospital that cares.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A shower or two, 15 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Don't miss the $4 million grand prize at Henley Beach. Only days remain. Homelottery.com.au.
Police are investigating whether two fire bombings south of the city are linked. Senior Constable Peter Williams says a house was the first target.
Just before 10 p.m. last night, emergency services were called to Herrings Lane in Happy Valley after reports that a Molotov cocktail had been thrown at a house, which of course then sparks the fire. CFS quickly extinguished the blaze, which caused minor damage to the front of the premises, and luckily the occupants weren't injured.
A second Molotov cocktail was thrown at a property on Valleyfair Road at Hackham West just before 1:30. A Holden parked nearby went up in flames. A drunk driver crashed into a pole at Wingfield last night. It happened at the intersection of Grand Junction and South Roads after the Toyota sedan mounted the median strip. The driver was not injured. He was breath tested and allegedly blew 3 times the legal limit. A 25-year-old man from Burton has been reported for drink driving and lost his licence for 12 months. The cost of living crisis has spread to Adelaide's supermarkets. Fruit and vegetable prices are the latest blow to household budgets, with some grocers charging $9 for a single lettuce. Grower Dino Mussolino says wet weather here and floods in Queensland are to blame.
It's not good, but there's not much that we can do about it. The whole of the country is short of particular iceberg lettuce and other crops, and of course you can only stretch it as far as you possibly can, and then you get to a point where it's just going to run out.
Anthony Albanese will host his first international visitor since becoming Prime Minister. Lucy Gray reports from Canberra.
New Zealand PM Jacinda Ardern is flying into Sydney later today, flanked by her Finance Minister Grant Robertson. The pair will meet their Australian counterparts to discuss regional security, trade and climate change over the next 2 days. Ms Ardern is the first international leader to visit Australia since Anthony Albanese took the nation's top job. She'll have an informal dinner with the Prime Minister tonight before bilateral meetings on Friday.
Police have uncovered a major Chinese money laundering syndicate in Victoria and New South Wales. The Age reports the group is responsible for moving hundreds of millions of dollars overseas each year. Federal police are also compiling intelligence of Chinese companies supplying precursor chemicals used to make illicit drugs. The World Health Organization has warned there's a risk of monkeypox becoming established in countries where it's not normally found. But Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus says the situation is still preventable.
More than 1,000 confirmed cases of monkeypox have now been reported to WHO from 29 countries that are not endemic for the disease. So far, no deaths have been reported in these countries.
IKEA is recalling an espresso maker which is at risk of bursting and causing serious burns. Only stainless steel versions of the Metallisk product are affected. Customers can return it for a full refund with no proof of purchase required. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
10-year warranty and 10-year capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
It's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Port Adelaide will look to pick up where it left off as it begins its second half of the season against Richmond at the MCG tonight. The Power have won 5 of their past 6 games and need to win to stay in touch with the top 8. Ruckman Sam Hayes has been dropped. Still on footy, and Adelaide's players will enjoy 4 days off with their bye on this round. Defender Brodie Smith telling Rowie they're making good progress and will look for a strong second half of the year.
There will be a focus there to get as many wins as possible, clearly, but it's just about playing our way for 4 quarters and doing it consistently and getting more and more games into these guys that are really coming along.
To rugby league, the Maroons have spoiled the Blues' first hometown Origin match in 2 years with a 16-10 upset victory. More than 80,000 fans packed out Stadium Australia, including Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. New South Wales is now staring down 2 away games to reclaim the series. Blues coach Brad Fittler admits it will be a challenge.
If you lose the first one, you're up against it. So we've got to travel to Perth. We have a week preparation there, and then obviously we've got to win it in Queensland. So winning the game there last year give us a lot of confidence at Suncorp, but good challenge.
And in some cricket to finish, Australia's taken an unbeatable 2-0 series lead against Sri Lanka in their T20 series after beating the hosts by 3 wickets in Colombo. Kane Richardson leading the way with the ball with 4 wickets, while Jai Richardson chipped in with 3. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Help SAMRI's life-saving research. Join the Bright Walk July 23rd. Register at samribright.org.au.
At Brooklyn Park, burst water main, Sir Donald Rapid Drive near Marion Road. That's closed city-bound at the moment with detours in place. Expect delays, avoid if you can. Also at Brooklyn Park, a smash on Henley Beach Road at Marion Road. Harrow Hills West, multi-car collision, Kesters Road near Main North Road, and Alamy Gardens sewer maintenance works there, Grange Road near Hallett Boulevard heading outbound. Busy at the moment, South Road at Torrensville, and look out for cameras Hillier Road, Hillier, and Jetty Road at Brighton. The Karcher Tradie Vac is tough, reliable, and powerful. Made for tradies, it sucks up dust, rubble, water, anything your job site can throw at it. The Karcher Tradie Vac, available at Bunnings Warehouse. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Hitachi Air Conditioners. Be comfortable all year round. Visit hitachieaircon.com.au.
Today a shower or 2, 15. Tomorrow showers and 16. Saturday a shower or 2, 15. Right now it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Here's 30 seconds by the sea, thanks to Coast Glenelg. Beachfront dining with modern Med cuisine. For oysters, crays and views, and impressive wine and cocktails too. Sounds like Coast Glenelg on the Pierre Hotel Promenade. Book now via Fork.
Everybody's talking about Montaigne. Miles Fitzner here. It's all happening at Mount Barker Ford with the all-new next-generation Ford Ranger on sale now. With the class-leading V6 turbo engine and technology you have to drive to believe. To enhance your test drive experience, dealer principal James Benford has arranged coffee and cake on us in the Adelaide Hills. So come for a test drive today of the next-gen Ranger, and don't forget the impressive 5-year Ford-back warranty on all Ford vehicles. Visit Mount Barker Ford today.
MVD 182170.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
22 minutes to 8. John Blake coming up before 8 o'clock. Then after 8 today, Tom Duday from the Adelaide Football Club. Got the bye this week, and I think we're catching him before he jets off on holiday.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
So he's going somewhere warm. We'll chat with him about that. We'll flash back with Michael Smith before 9 o'clock this morning. But right now, it's time to dissect the spin of the week with Matt Abraham. Thanks to your local Mitre 10. Friendly service, expert advice, quality brands at great prices. That's mighty helpful, Mitre 10.
Mitre 10 out of 10 every time.
Morning to you, Matt.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, David.
Dialing in from an undisclosed location, Matt, on account of some minor health concerns. An abundance of caution.
Out of an abundance of caution, I decided not to spread my cold around with you. I mean, I've inhaled so much eucalyptus, I've started sleeping up a gum tree.
Started eating leaves.
It's okay. I've had the rats, and then we did the PCR. So I don't know what's the difference between a cold and COVID, except the negative rat doesn't make you feel any better.
Well, from everyone I know who's had it, influenza A sounds worse than COVID.
I
so I hope it's not that.
No, it's okay.
Oh, that's
okay.
good. Now, because you know how to party, I understand, Matt, you've been spending a bit of your downtime crunching the numbers in the eastern suburb seat of Bragg.
I have, because it looked likely during the week that Chelsea Potter, who was a disaffected Liberal but now back in the fold courtesy of a late manoeuvre by David Spears, opposition leader, it looked like she might stick her hand up as an independent woman running in Bragg, and that would have, I think, created the possibility of an upset, because looking at the numbers, I can't see, this is a brave call, but I can't see the Liberals losing Bragg unless an independent bobs up. And you've got to go back, this seat has never dropped below 60% on primaries until the last election, when it was 53.8. So it's never had to go to preferences, this seat. And for an independent to get up, you have to go to, well, either the independent beats the person on primaries, or the primary vote's got to drop in the 40s, and then you get this, these preferences starting to flow, and either an independent or Labor could get up with independent and Green preferences. So that would, and the ALP's vote at the last election, for instance, Vicky's primary vote, Vicky Chapman, the sitting retiring MPs, dropped nearly 8%, 7.6. The ALP's was up, so they had a primary of 28.6, the Greens 12.6, and there was a Family First vote there of 5%. They're actually quite high figures.
Are Labor getting ahead of themselves a bit with their excitement about it, Matt? Because quite clearly, the federal election, like I looked at some of the numbers in the federal seat of Sturt, a lot of which overlaps with Bragg, and in some of the booths within Bragg, for example, Burnside and Beaumont, the Green vote there cracked 20%, which is just extraordinary. I mean, this is talking about the Feathers Hotel roundabout, something looking like the People's Commune in Berkeley in the late 1960s. But Will made the good point. We were chatting off air. Do you feel like that was a isolated spleen-venting moment directed at Scott Morrison, and now with Morrison gone, the good burgers of the eastern suburbs have got their you-know-whats off the liver with the Liberals and are going to return to the fold?
Yes, I think that's a pretty good summary. It is a big jump, and it is something extraordinary we saw at the federal election, where people went from Liberal to Green. Not Liberal Labor Green or whatever, but Liberal to Green. We didn't see such, in South Australia, most of the seats, apart from some of the booths you were talking about there, but most of the seats fell into, it was a bit like WA, except less extreme, that most of the seats fell into your traditional Liberal-Labor contests. And, we didn't see the teal wave here, even in Boothby. You just didn't see it to the extent that we saw it in some of those traditional Liberal seats in Sydney. So I think it's a big ask. You would need to see a huge backlash against the Liberals, because they've already had an 8% drop in their primary vote. So the seats now, it's not regarded as rock solid, on Anthony Green's pendulum. It's regarded as fairly safe. So it is vulnerable in a by-election.
Do you think it's a byproduct, Matt, of the fact that the Liberal Party in South Australia couldn't exactly be criticised for not being moderate enough? They're not going to be ever confused for being too conservative, and as such, that with a relatively affluent, very affluent seat like this, there isn't going to be that sort of teal backlash.
Well, I wouldn't think so, especially if there's no independent running. It's going to be very hard. It's going to be very hard for Labor, even with Greens. Greens preferences won't come into play there, so it's just going to be very hard for Labor to win the seat, even though they're the only party fielding a woman. And we did see this manoeuvre by David Spears. I mean, I do think it's farcical, but clever, in that he really persuaded Chelsea Potter not to run, and went a step further, and even has recruited her to be involved in some sort of committee to look at the woman problem in Liberal seats. Well, there's a way of fixing that. You pre-select women, but you don't really need a committee for it. And he even raised the prospect of quotas in the Liberal Party. I can't see that happening, because even if they had somehow adopted it at, you know, the state executive, you've got to make it happen. And the only way quotas have worked in the Labor Party isn't because they decided, oh, we need, I'm going to set a target of 50% of women, you know, elected to Parliament. You have to have a really strict factional system that agrees, you know, like this is going to be candidate X, that candidate's going to be a woman in that safe seat. Sorry, mate, you know, you're going to have to wait. We'll give you a seat in the upper house or something like that. We know you're a good and faithful servant, but, you know, you've got a dick and you don't qualify. So, pardon the... Sorry,
those coddles are kicking in, man.
Was that, is that spin of the week?
Well, that is sort of what it comes out to, I guess.
Sorry about that.
Oh, wait,
it's the echinacea. It's the echinacea.
How strong is that stuff you're on?
I blame Pirate Pete. I think he put something else in it.
Hey, Matt, before we let you go, Peter Malinowskis, stuntman or not, we put the question out there yesterday inspired by Michael Maguire's excellent column in The Advertiser. And overwhelmingly, our listeners were saying, yep, we're sick of it. One point someone made to me as well was the timing of it, going in the ambulances on Saturday night, just three days before the figures came out showing that we've got the worst ramping in the entire history of the state. I mean, clearly they can shoot that back home to the Libs, given that they've just won the election. But was it all a bit cute, or do you think that people were being too harsh on him, given that he gave up a Saturday night to get out there and see firsthand what these people are dealing with?
Oh, I don't think you need to get that. Well, okay, so if you're in an ambulance, you do get a first-hand appreciation. But A, he's not the health minister; he's the premier, and he's not an opposition leader anymore, which is a point that Michael Maguire and the Tiser made. You know, it was a good. You know, it was a good column, and it said, you know, you're not in opposition anymore. And look, you know, I think Peter Malinowskis can pretty well get away with anything. But you know, in terms of focusing on the job, I think that was a night wasted for him. He would have been better at home, you know, in front of the fire, gargling, gargling echinacea.
He's got to get the dose right.
Hey,
exactly.
Let's get to some spin.
9 out of 10, out of 10, every time.
Okay, this is. I've got two for you this morning because I couldn't resist either of them. But the first is David Spears and the new Liberal candidate, potentially new Liberal leader one day, Jack Batty, explaining. Well, you know, David Spears explaining why he didn't vote for Jack Batty, but he's wonderful.
He's not some pale, stale male. He is a dynamic, younger bloke in politics.
Why do they all keep saying that?
I mean, he is a pale male. He is a pale male.
I think the only point he was contesting was whether he was stale or not.
Exactly. So let's give him 5 out of 10.
Okay, 5 out of 10 for his defence of the staleness.
Now, I looked everywhere for this audio, but thanks to Sam Maiden in her column in the Tiser because she included it. She included the video. This is Angus Taylor. Now, this is the new Shadow Treasurer.
Great.
Who's at a press conference he's called. He spends about 5 minutes talking about rising interest rates and then does this.
Happy to take questions. All good? Perfect. Thank you very much.
Nobody there.
The perfect press conference. No journos.
I tell you what, it shows how cruel politics is. You're a rooster one day, feather duster the next. The Shadow Treasurer can't get anybody apart from one cameraman to go to his press conference.
Imagine the pressure on that cameraman to come up with a question. On the spot.
Yeah, like,
who are you?
Exactly.
What do you give it, Matt?
1 out of 10.
Get well soon. Look after yourself, Matt.
Thank you. See you next week.
Matt Abraham, thanks to your local Mitre 10, friendly service, expert advice, quality brands at great prices. That's mighty helpful Mitre 10.
You don't get that kind of sleeves-up political analysis anywhere else.
No, that's for sure. Let's check traffic. still recovering. Thanks to Joyreen Fashions. Ladies, Joyreen Fashions is closing with all garments now half price at 491 Port Rush Road, Glenunga.
Thanks, Will. At Brooklyn Park, Perth Water Main, Sir Donald Bradford Drive near Marine Road. That's closed citywide at the moment with detours in place. Expect delays. Best advice is avoid that if you can. Also at Brooklyn Park, a smash on Henley Beach Road at Marine Road. Para Hills West, multi-car collision there. Kester's Road near Main North Road. And we're quite busy at the moment. Eldersmith Road, Main North Road to Main Street. And we've got a camera Anzac Highway at Ashford. It's the end of financial year sale at Amart. Save up to 50% on a range of spacious lounges, stylish sofas, quality dining, bedroom and more. Hurry in, stores open till late tonight. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
At Peter Shearer Menswear, for a limited time, buy any item and we'll give you any second item half price. Mix all brands and all styles, including new season winter stock. Buy any Cambridge suit and get a second half price. Refresh your Boston shirts and get a second half price. Buy any Daniel Hester sports coat and get your Aquila chinos half price. Shop in store and online. Always at Peter Shearer Menswear. Rundle Mall, Glenelg, Mount Barker and new store in Gawler. petershearer.com.au. T's and C's apply.
Don't just send it, Ace it. It's not just your deliveries that ASIC Couriers look after. They're also proud supporters of the community. Chris, tell us more.
That's right, Rowie. At ASIC Couriers, we're proud supporters of over 16 sporting clubs. We also work with and support the Breakthrough Mental Health Research Foundation to strive for a happy and positive workplace. By supporting us, you're also supporting the community.
Don't just send it, Ace it.
Now, this weekend with the Queen's birthday long weekend, it means that we've got the 3 days off quite clearly, and with the average weather, it's the perfect time to get stuck into those DIY projects around the home.
That's exactly right, and you'll be pleased to know that the other hardware store is open all long weekend for your DIY needs.
And by the other hardware store, will you, of course, mean my local Mitre 10?
I think to you, I'd just say it's the hardware store.
The hardware store.
Yes, Mitre 10 will get you sorted with whatever you need to get those DIY jobs finished, whether it's quality brands at great prices or mighty helpful advice.
That's right. The staff at the other hardware store are full of tips, tricks and expert advice. They really know their stuff. So for whatever projects you're working on over the long weekend, head to the other hardware store, the wonderful people at the mighty helpful Mitre 10.
How do you know if the milk you're buying is local? Easy. Just look for 3 words. FIVEAA Milk Company. If the bottle you pick up has those 3 words on it, FIVEAA Milk Company, it's guaranteed to be local. It's guaranteed to be fresh too. And the big plus, you're supporting SA dairy farmers. And for that, we're forever grateful. 3 words. FIVEAA Milk Company. South Australian and proud of it.
Whether you live south of or near the city, when it comes to driving a new Mitsubishi, you have 2 clear standouts. Wayville Mitsubishi on Goodwood Road and Southern Mitsubishi on South Road. The only thing separating these incredible teams is location. Both share the same passion for excellence in customer service and customer satisfaction. When it comes to a new Mitsi, the choice is clear. Wayville Mitsubishi on Goodwood Road and Southern Mitsubishi on South Road, both driven by Australian Motors. LVD 80.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
7 to 8, John Blake is coming up in just a moment. But of course, it's a Thursday morning, which means we're joined live in the studio by a Smeg appliance. I won't bother putting the microphone on, but I think you can...
Listen up.
Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah.
That is a Smeg Mixmaster. How good's that?
That's the raw power of a Smeg mixer.
A Smeg beater.
Look at that.
A handheld mixer.
And like all Smeg products...
with 3 different prongs.
You never need to put them away. You don't need to put them away.
No.
In fact, you're right. You take it to work with you.
What about the ergonomic design? Beautiful. It's quite light as well.
Spectacular looking.
So get your egg whites going with that, Will.
Absolutely.
Fold them into whatever it is you're making. Cornbread, pavlova, you name it.
Yep. Now, building
there's a dough hook as well. Can I just walk through all the bits?
Yeah,
all the specs?
Please do. A dough hook? Is that in case you catch a deer?
There's a deer. There's beaters, whisks, and these excellent dough hooks if you're doing pizza dough or baking focaccia or something like that. There you go.
Building or renovating, your first choice should be visiting the Smeg showroom at Debney Distributors. Taste the difference with Smeg.
Thanks to Smeg, it's time for the dish that defines your suburb.
What's the suburb today, David?
The Bay. Glenelg. The palindrome suburb.
Right.
Glenelg.
Is there a dish that you can make backwards and forwards the same way?
Oh, that's an excellent question. What foods are palindromes? Oh, that's a little side project we can work on.
Probably should have worked it out first.
That's right. Now, this food is not a palindrome.
Okay.
And it might jar somewhat with people who might think coastal, seaside. They might be thinking, whiting or something like that. I am inspired by several things here. One, it's our beloved family restaurant. Been going there since I was a kid. If I did some sort of like Freudian word association game where someone said, Glenelg, what words go with Glenelg? Okay, Bay. What words go with Bay? I'd go barbecue in.
Right.
The Bay Barbecue Inn, there's nothing more Glenelg than the Bay Barbecue Inn. Every time you go in there, Peter Carey's there.
Super.
Or one of the Cornses is there having a family get together. It is Glenelg personified, and for that reason, because it is utterly ubiquitous, and it's also part of our great multicultural heritage in Australia, because Martin's old man started it in Hindley Street, and then he continued it there at the Bay. It doesn't matter what you order at the Bay Barbecue Inn, it always comes with cevapcicis. In fact, I reckon if they had a dessert menu, if they had a banana split with ice cream and peanuts and chocolate topping, they would hide a cevapcici in there somewhere. The cevapcici, the skinless sausage from the former Yugoslavia, is the official dish of Glenelg.
Okay, the dish that defines Glenelg this morning. Every single entrant is in the running to win that Smeg mixer. 8223 0000 is all you need to do. Call in and just tell us, what dish do you think defines the Bay, defines Glenelg?
Now,
no wrong answers. That's the beauty of this.
I might be completely full of it. Somebody might say that it's the excellent Glenelg Pizza Bar.
Yep, whatever you think it is.
It could be anything.
Well, it doesn't have to be an establishment, just as a dish.
No, it could be something that you've eaten at family picnics down there at the Moseley Reserve.
We'll get to some of your entries shortly, put some people in the running for that fantastic Smeg prize. But first, it's time for John Blake, thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight, distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast, 13 13 64.
Now, the latest news with Wallace Fogg. Good morning, early risers. I'm Wallace Fogg with another FIVEAA news update. International news first up, and Hollywood superstar Adam Sandler has appeared on television with a black eye and a wound on his left cheek. He said he smacked himself in the face with his mobile phone in an unfortunate and kind of comical accident while he was lying in bed. Well-known FIVEAA broadcaster and new grandfather Stephen Rowe said he was glad the comedian got a whack in the face because Rowe, being a super fan of Adam Sandler, once approached him in a diner in Los Angeles and asked for an autograph, and Adam Sandler told him to f*** off. In other news, Johnny Depp has celebrated his court victory over his ex-wife Amber Heard with a celebratory dinner with friends at an Indian restaurant. The bill for dinner reportedly being $90,000. People are now questioning whether he paid for dinner or just bought the restaurant. Debate is raging as to what you actually get if you pay $90,000 at an Indian restaurant, with most people agreeing a very full stomach and a severe case of the runs. And finally, Australian television personality Lisa Wilkinson has apologised for a comment she made on Channel 10's The Project. Whilst talking to the other members of the Project panel about the Russian invasion of Ukraine, she flippantly suggested that Russia and Ukraine play one game of soccer to decide the outcome of the war. She made a public apology on Instagram after one person said her comments were disgusting and insensitive. She said, "I sincerely apologise, it was not meant to offend, and I'm sorry if I offended." People are now saying if she's prepared to apologise for that after only one person complained, why is she not apologising to the thousands of people complaining that the project is still on the air and that her husband wears those stupid bandanas? And that's the news! news for this Thursday. More 5AA news coming up at 8 o'clock, or as close as we can get.
Minute to 8, we got some dishes that define Glenelg to put in the running for the SMEG mixer this morning. Anna in Brooklyn Park, what's the dish that defines Glenelg?
The dish would be sarma, which is in line with the cevapcici dish that you said it's barbecue in. That's the national dish of all the Baltic states like Croatia, Serbia, Bosnia, etc.
Beautiful, Anna, thank you. Let's go to Clarence Gardens. Tyson, the dish that defines Glenelg.
G'day, boys. As a kid, out the front of Magic Mountain, Mum and Dad and I would always get fish and chips, mate.
Fish and chips.
Yeah, the old Magic Mountain.
Yeah, can't go wrong with the
beat
base.
that.
Susan, good morning.
Good morning, brace girdles and anything chocolate.
Oh, yes.
Chocolate fondue is pretty good.
Okay, chocolate fondue, the dish that defines Glenelg. We'll take some more entries. No wrong answers in every single one in the running to win that SMEG mixer this morning. Back with more in a moment.
Don't wait any longer to live mortgage-free in beachside luxury. Purchase your tickets in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery by midnight tomorrow, and you could soon be living large. Imagine collecting the keys to your fully furnished Scott Salisbury home in Henley Beach that comes with $1 million. This is your last chance. The absolute final deadline is midnight tomorrow. Get your tickets now at homelottery.com.au. Licence M141166.
9 News has the experience to break the news. Made in Adelaide for Adelaide. 9 News.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A shower or two, 15 today with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Don't miss the $4 million grand prize at Henley Beach. Only days remain. homelottery.com.au.
There have been 2 fire bombings across the southern suburbs overnight. Kendall Brettig reports.
Just before 10 o'clock last night, emergency crews were called to Herrings Lane at Happy Valley after reports a Molotov cocktail had been thrown at a house, sparking a fire. Fire crews quickly extinguished the blaze, which caused minor damage to the front of the home. Luckily, the occupants weren't hurt. Then just before 1:30 this morning, there was another attack at a home on Valleyfair Road at Hackham West. A gold Holden sedan was alight in the driveway. A Molotov cocktail was found nearby. Fire crews extinguished the blaze, which caused significant damage to the vehicle. Detectives are investigating whether there are any links between the two incidents.
A man has been reported for drink driving after a crash at Wingfield. Senior Constable Peter Williams says it happened just after 9 last night.
Police were called to the intersection of Grand Junction Road and South Road after a Toyota sedan crashed into a metal pole on the medium strip, and thankfully the driver was not injured.
The 25-year-old was breath tested and allegedly blew 3 times the legal limit. He's lost his licence for 12 months. Anyone planning to travel overseas this year is being warned to get their passport sorted early. There's been an influx of applications putting pressure on the Passport Office. More than 300 additional staff are being recruited to deal with the increased workload. Assistant Foreign Affairs Minister Tim Watts says they're seeing a record number of people applying for a new passport.
This is an issue that's not going to be turned around overnight. The big surge in applications, it's only going to grow, frankly. We're expecting there to be continually significant number of people applying. So put in your applications earlier than you usually would. Try to put your passport application in 6 weeks early to try and save the stress down the track.
Sharing a toothbrush container with people who've had COVID could heighten your risk of contracting the virus. According to James Cook University, 2 in 3 people who had COVID and shared a container with other household members then passed the virus on to them. Although it does depend on the viral load, Professor John Abbott is recommending people who've recovered replace their toothbrush.
And also, if you share your tube of toothpaste, again, it's an area where COVID can be transmitted from one person to the other.
German authorities are investigating a possible terror attack in Berlin. A man driving his car into shoppers not once but twice in the city. It happened mid-morning in a busy shopping precinct. 1 person is dead and 14 students have been injured. The fatality was a teacher. A 29-year-old man has been arrested. Reporter Ellie Walsh has more.
This area is right next to where 12 people were killed during a Christmas market terror attack in 2016. The weapon used in that case, well, that was a truck. That attack was claimed by ISIS.
A survivor of the Texas elementary school shooting has recalled the chilling moment she played dead to avoid the shooter's gaze. A public hearing into the mass shooting that took the lives of 19 school children and 2 teachers has entered a second day. 11-year-old Maya Sorello has spoken of her ordeal.
He shot my friend that was next to me, and I thought he was going to come back to the room, so I grabbed the blood and put it all over me.
More accolades for Sir David Attenborough. The 96-year-old has been knighted for a second time for his services to television and conservation. Sir David has been appointed a Knight Grand Cross of the Order of St Michael and St George. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
New Mitsubishi Triton with 10-year warranty, 10-year capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
And the footy gets underway tonight, Tom Wren.
Yeah, looking forward to it, Mel. You can hear it right here on 5AA, and Port has made one change for that clash tonight against Richmond, with defender Lockie Jones returning to the lineup. He comes in at the expense of Sam Hayes, who's been left out, meaning the Power will enter tonight's clash against the Tigers with no recognised ruckman. Noah Bolter returns as one of 3 changes for Richmond. Marlon Pickett will return after playing just once in the past month, while Judson Clark will make his debut. The rest of the team news will be released tonight ahead of round 13. Well, a late rally from New South Wales wasn't enough in State of Origin 1. The home side going down 16-10 to a gritty Maroon side, spearheaded by 5'8" Cameron Munster. Blues halfback Nathan Cleary says Queensland showed more Origin qualities than New South Wales.
Yeah, they scrambled hard, man. Saved us a couple of times just for the line, and that's what Origin's about. They saved more tries than we did.
To cricket, Australia's won its T20 series against Sri Lanka with a 3-wicket victory in Colombo. The home side was kept to just 9 for 124 from its 20 overs. The Aussies reaching the winning target with 13 balls to spare. Full-time in UEFA Nations League matches this morning with Belgium belting Poland 6-1. The Netherlands scored in the 94th minute to defeat Wales 2-1. Scotland took care of Armenia 2-0, while Ukraine had a 1-0 win over Ireland. And the NBA Finals will resume again this morning with the Boston Celtics to host the Golden State Warriors in Game 3 of their best-of-7 series. That series currently all square at 1 game apiece. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Help SAMRI's life-saving research. Join the Bright Walk July 23rd. Register at samribright.org.au.
At Brooklyn Park, burst water main on St Donald Rapin Drive near Marion Road. That's closed city-bound at the moment with detours in place. Expect delays avoid if you can. Woodville North, smash Hanson Road at 9th Avenue. Allenby Gardens, sewer maintenance works there. Grange Road near Hallett Boulevard heading outbound. Currently got a lane closed and speeds at 40. Busy right now. Marion Road, Sturt Road to Alawoona Avenue with cameras Anzac Highway, Ashford and Main North Road at Cutler. NAB Equipment Finance can help you to make ideas more. Search NAB Equipment Finance today. NAB, more than money. T's and C's and lending criteria apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA weather.
Hitachi Air Conditioners. Be comfortable all year round. Visit hitachieaircon.com.au.
A shower or 2 for your Thursday, 15. Showers tomorrow, 16. And 15 again on Saturday. Right now it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Building amazing homes is important to Beechwood Homes, and so is the environment. So when you build with Beechwood, you're building a better environment for our kids and grandkids. Here's why. Around 70% of scrap materials from every Beechwood home is recycled. Bricks, rubble, timber, gyprock and steel, none of it goes to landfill. It's all sorted and recycled. So life really is good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. Google Beechwood Adelaide today for a better future for all of us.
Wellness. It's a word that gets thrown around a bit, but what does wellness mean to you? Is it a fit body? Is it a clear mind? A healthy lifestyle? Is it all of the above? Well, at Club Pilates, they want you to achieve your wellness goals, whatever they are.
Big fan of wellness. Club Pilates offers a supportive community, highly skilled instructors, multiple class and equipment options. I know people who do Pilates. People like me are a little bit cynical. You know, I would freely admit that I'm a little bit cynical. And then they do their Pilates and they say, I just feel so much more supple and nimble and flexible and mobile. I feel better in myself.
It's a big thing. I had to do Pilates for when we had my back troubles.
Seriously?
Because it's a low impact thing for a lot of people do for recovery of major injuries.
So if it's Pilates you're after,
yes,
Club Pilates are the people to do it with.
Exactly right. Right now, Club Pilates memberships are 20% off for 3 months with no joining fees and flexible options too.
That's right. Let's face it, there are so many memberships we have that we don't need. Streaming TV channels, phone apps that make us guess words, the Rick Astley Fan Club newsletter, but this is one membership that you don't want to miss out on.
For 20% off, go to clubpilates.com.au.
For over 38 years, Steinborner Automotive has always been well worth a trip. And right now, Steinborners are the place to go for top dollar on your trade-in. They will do any trade, and this month they are offering a further $1,500 bonus on all trade-ins. So go out to one of Steinborner's 8 locations for Hyundai, Mitsubishi, Ford and SA's best range of used cars. View all their used vehicles at steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth a trip.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
8:09.
Thanks to Smeg. It's time for the dish that defines your suburb.
Already lots of great entries coming in for the dish that defines your suburb. There's a Smeg mixer, a magnificent piece of work that's up for grabs this morning. Glenelg is the suburb that you need to find a dish that defines. Lots of great entries already. We'll get to some more of those in a moment. Tom Duday coming up in just a second as well. But first, it's time for Breaking It Up.
Well, today we want to give our Breaking It 8 segment over to a hugely important initiative in honour of 2 young people who lost their lives under the most shocking of circumstances back in August 2020. Wukash Pierce and his girlfriend, Chelsea Ireland. Everybody will remember the shocking circumstances surrounding their tragically premature passings. Now, the family of Chelsea and also Wukash's mother, Magda Pierce. Magda has created this brilliant idea in memory of her son and his girlfriend Chelsea. It's called Beats for Woo. And what they've done is they've assembled this absolute list of some of the biggest names of South Australian basketball, a whole bunch of 36ers legends, including Kevin Brooks, Brett Maher, CJ Bruton, Paul Rees, David Cooper, Al Green, Phil Smythe, Mark Davis, and they're all getting together on Saturday the 18th of June at the Wayville Basketball Stadium there in Rose Terrace to play a charity event. It's the Wukash Foundation charity match, it's been called. And it's all to, raise funds and raise awareness as to the shocking demise of these 2 young kids. Big thanks to Chelsea's father, who listens to our show, and he's contacted us about this event. It's going to be hosted by one of your old work colleagues, Beck Morse, Will. Yep. Of SAFM fame now. So if you want to get tickets, head along to the Humanitix website. That's HUMANITIX, and you can find out more information about the foundation behind all of this via the website beatsforwukashfoundation.org. Such a terrible crime, and good on them.
Yeah,
good
absolutely.
on them for banding together to do this.
Some of the biggest names in the history of South Australian basketball getting together for that as well.
Yeah, I hope I pronounced them all properly.
Yeah, you did. I was hoping you'd toss in the nicknames like Mean Al Green and then Mark Davis, the chairman of the boards.
Oh, of course.
Absolute legends. Now, 13 after 8, Vicky in Morphettville has come up with a dish that defines Glenelg. Vicky, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, thanks, Vicky.
I also said to the producer that you can spell Glenelg the same way forwards as you can backwards.
Yes.
Correct.
And the dish is gyros.
Gyros. Yeah, gyros. It's funny, someone texted
we
in.
had gyros.
Sasha in Prospect said a 3 a.m. gyros after Lenny's shut. Poor old Lenny's. Lenny's Tavern.
Well, Vicky, you are in the running to win that terrific Smeg mixer that we'll be giving away before 9 o'clock today.
I'm the dude. So that's what you call me, that or his dudeness or duder or, El Duderino if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
13 minutes after 8. Time to talk to the dude. He's got the week off of footy, but he doesn't have it off of 5AA. That's just the reality of the business, my friend. Leader Computers, Australia's largest Australian-owned PC manufacturer based right here in Adelaide.
We should stress, it's not we forced him. He's just got such a highly advanced work ethic, he'd do it anyway.
Don't try to cover yourself now. Don't try to cover yourself.
No, I think...
I'm in the Virgin Lounge ready to go to the Gold Coast and enjoy my trip, and you guys had to call me to just finish up my 4-day break, didn't you?
If the tables were reversed, Tom, I would love to hear David's reaction if you called him on day one of his holidays to talk about working on the radio and how it's all been going.
I'm sure I probably would get put on hold maybe a couple of times before you even answered.
Quite possibly. So where are you off to?
Off to the Gold Coast to see some sunshine and see my little nephew up there. So should be good.
Sensational, mate. So how long's the break? Well, it's only a week, isn't it? So how many days do you get?
Yeah, you get the bye week and you get a 4-day break in there. So some clubs do Monday to Thursday, some do Thursday to Saturday. It just depends on what the club decides. But we're lucky enough that we get the weekend off as well. So if you go home, you actually get to see people rather than working around uni and work when your mates are busy.
Hey Tom, can I ask you a completely left field question? I don't know if there's a sort of a code among footballers where you never discuss things like this publicly, but I reckon the story about that dust up between Sam Gray and the other blokes at the Melbourne dinner,
Stephen May.
Sorry, Stephen May. I think that's the most remarkable footy story I've read in a while. It must be all the players must be talking about it.
It got brought up straight away as soon as it went viral. It was sort of, wow, what just happened? And then once we learned a bit more detail about it, it's an interesting one. You sort of think sometimes that stuff happens and it just gets kept under wraps and the media don't find out about it. Like not saying our club do, but just I know across the league sometimes that stuff just, let's just keep that to ourselves. But it went public pretty quickly, and they jumped on the front foot defensively, didn't they?
Does it go into the memory banks for a bit of trash talk in future, Tom? You're lining up, Jake Melksham's down there, and you say, mate, any good dinner recommendations? Anywhere we go for a quiet night?
Look, I'm not usually prone to doing that, but if he started the chirping like he's prone to do, I might actually think it out.
It's just such an amazing story, and
isn't it?
How do you manage that internally as a club? It's just...
No, just put them in the ring, I reckon. Just let them go square it out.
Get it out of their system.
Yeah, get it all out.
That's not a bad idea.
Hey, is it annoying when you win a game and a lot of people are still saying they still weren't very impressed by it?
Yeah, look, to be honest, I haven't heard a lot of that external noise. I only got brought up the other day. Someone said it to me. But basically asked the exact same question, Pembo. And it is a little bit because I think we did so much right, especially in the first half, and then it was almost that third quarter and a little bit of the fourth. We let it slip, but it wasn't as if it was a catastrophic collapse or anything. It was just they got a few goals, and in the fourth quarter we played to win the game, not to extend our lead. We just wanted to make sure in the conditions that we won it. So I think we showed a lot, both with the ball in hand and then defending. But obviously teams are going to media's going to find a way to pull you down no matter what, whether you're winning every game like Melbourne were or whether you're on a bit of a slide like we were. So. You just have to move on from it and build up for next week.
Bye's always the time in a season where everyone starts sort of doing their mid-year assessment of where the club's at and where they're likely to go from here. What's your feeling on how the first half of the year's gone?
Yeah, I think we're a lot further ahead than we were last year. I know a lot of the media talking about in terms of both win-loss, progression of playing list, all that sort of stuff. I think we're further ahead in terms of our clarity of our game plan. We know what's expected of us on game day. We know what our roles are in the team, and we've showed that against the good teams. Unfortunately, we've just had a few lapses that have killed us in terms of the scoreboard result, but we're definitely further ahead than we were last year in a lot of areas, and it's exciting if we can continue to put that together for 4 quarters going forward. It's going to be exciting to see what we bring. Do
you love the bye, or do you feel like it breaks up the rhythm of the year?
No, I love the bye. I needed it. I was pretty sore coming after the last game. I got a big shiner, a black eye after getting 6 stitches, so I'm needing that to heal so I can look pretty next time I come into the studio for you boys. A couple of shoulder issues and and a sore finger that's finally healing. So I'm looking forward to sipping pina coladas and Goldie and not having to worry about crashing and crashing again.
Speaking of hard assessments, and that's what it's all about, 360 degrees of feedback. Football these days, you've got to be honest, you've got to be able to cop criticism. But you're also a film critic, and you got to perform in your own advertisement for Hungry Jack's the other day. How did you see your performance? Were there any areas of improvement? Are you getting any offers from Hollywood yet? How's that track playing out?
Look, I learned from the craft of Tom Brady, and he never blames anyone else beside himself. He takes all responsibility. So I'm just going to put it out there. That wasn't my best effort, but if I wasn't such a humble human, I would say that it wasn't exactly the best set. Directing wasn't exactly A+. And the supporting cast like Lockie Scholl really brought me down. So I think I've got a lot more in the tank if I was surrounded by a better cast. But you can't win them all, can you?
So I must admit, Tom, I haven't caught up with this new work yet. Were you playing yourself or were you playing a character?
Yeah, I was playing myself, but it was meant to be a quick shoot. It ran a bit overtime, and so the bit where it was meant to be basically a sort of argument between me, Sholey, Andrew Gaff, and Oscar Allen turned into a bit of a shambles, and we had to do it all in one take. And look, Pembo, I'll be frank, it wasn't my finest effort. And look, I've got a bit of work to do in that regard, but hey, we take it week to week, and we keep improving, and that's just what we do at this club.
Hard to soar like an eagle when you're surrounded by donkeys, though. So you did your best. You did your best.
Exactly right. I've got the Leo hit me up after it. Cabaret, he just said a couple of tips and pointers for next time, and I've got De Niro on speed dial for next one, so I think I did all right.
That sounded like your flight was being called, mate.
No, that wasn't me. That's the one before. Actually, Riley O'Brien's off. He's off to Melbourne to see Hamilton, the play, which I'm very excited to see in the off-season. But I've still got a little bit to go, so I'm going to go grab a couple of hash browns and some bacon, considering it's a bye week, and really enjoy myself.
You do it, mate.
It's all quite arty at the football club, isn't it? The Adelaide Football Club. Guys off to see musicals, you with your cinematic knowledge. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we'll wait till football's done. Could be a post-career sort of theatre performance ran by Pembo and Will.
Adelaide Crows the musical.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would be very concerned if I was an audience member.
We'll take the Hungry Jack's ad. That's your audition tape. So we'll get back to you about who will be playing you, because we're not convinced. Dude, good on you, mate. Have a good break, mate. Have a great break.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Thanks to Leader Computers, Australia's largest Australian-owned PC manufacturer based right here in Adelaide.
You would have said Rebuild on Ice, the Adelaide Crow story.
Rebuild on Ice.
What do you think?
Does it have a happy ending?
Yes, of course it does.
Okay.
Not sure when, though.
Okay. Yeah, how long's the show?
Goes for several years. It's like the Mahabharata. Remember that one? Adelaide Festival, about 1988. Went for 9 hours.
Yeah. Well, that'd be, the shortcut. Let's check traffic, thanks to Joyreen Fashions. Ladies, Joyreen Fashions is closing with all garments now half price at 491 Portrush Road, Glenunga.
Thanks, Will. At Brooklyn Park, burst water main there this morning, so Donald Brabham Drive near Marion Road. That's closed city-bound, and detours in place. Expect delays. Avoid if you can. Woodville North got a smash. Hanson Road at 9th Avenue. Edward Sound road plates causing a hazard. South Road near Finesse Avenue. Speeds reduced. It's just in front of Bunnings. And Camden Park, median works on Anzac Highway near Cromer Street causing a few delays this morning. Busy South Road at Torrenceville, and we've got a camera up Bradley Grove at Mitchell Park. Telstra's end of financial year sale is now on. Get $15 a month credit for 6 months on selected home internet plans. Visit Telstra in-store or online to find out more. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Hello, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, we have specialised in commercial and residential property management. But above all, we specialise in people, helping to make life easy for property investors and the tenants of their properties. Everyone is treated with integrity and respect. That's the Lynn Andrews way. For commercial and residential property management, we are here to help. Visit lynandrews.com.au.
At Peter Shearer Menswear, for a limited time, buy any item and we'll give you any second item half price. Mix all brands and all styles, including new season winter stock. Buy any Cambridge suit and get a second half price. Refresh your Boston shirts and get a second half price. Buy any Daniel Hester sports coat and get your Aquila chinos half price. Shop in store and online. Always at Peter Shearer Menswear. Rundle Mall, Glenelg, Mount Barker and new store in Gawler. petershearer.com.au. T's and C's apply.
With tax time approaching, it's time to take advantage of the federal government's instant asset write-off. It's also a great time to speak to Toyota about a new forklift for your business. Check out their huge range of quality Toyota forklifts, pallet jacks, walkie stackers, reach forklifts and more. With legendary reliability and safety, plus cleaner, greener electric options. It's all part of the Toyota Forklift Advantage. For more, visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Get a Toyota forklift.
Terms and conditions apply.
So why go with NRG Solar?
My first contact with NRG Solar was through Michael. He had a look around the house, around the roof. We have particular problems with trees, so he assessed the situation, made some calculations, discussed the options with me. What I liked most about the visit was that Michael was prepared to explain things in simple language to us and look at the options and just basically being professional.
Visit nrgsolar.com.au.
Have you thought about where your face mask was made? Remember, not all face masks are made the same. So when it comes to protecting yourself and your family, think PPE Tech. 100% Australian owned and made. PPE Tech manufactures P2 face masks that comfortably seal to your face and filter more than 98% of particles. Now is the time to protect all Australians and support Aussie-made products. Order online to receive up to 40% off and free delivery at ppetech.com.au. That's ppetech.com.au.
9 News has the experience to break the news. Made in Adelaide for Adelaide. 9 News. David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
"24 minutes after 8. We love Smeg on 5AA Breakfast. Smeg products. That's why we were delighted when
Smeg it up.
We got it together to create a partnership with them. Smeg it up. Is that what we're going with?
Yeah, why not?
And each and every week we've got a Smeg appliance to give away. So building or renovating, your first choice should be visiting the Smeg showroom at Debney Distributors. Taste the difference with Smeg. Today we've got a mixer.
Yeah, superb. It's got 3 different devices on it.
It's got an LED digital screen on it.
Oh, yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It's all quality gear, the Smeg.
High end.
Yeah. This isn't sort of straight to landfill stuff that you buy for $19 in the supermarket aisle. These are built to last forever. You can pass them down to your children.
Exactly right.
And your children's children.
To give them away, we play a little game.
Thanks to Smeg, it's time for the dish that defines your suburb.
Glenelg in focus this morning. David said the dish that defines Glenelg is
Shabapchichi.
So we're asking,
served on a barbecue in mixed grill.
Rob in Summerton Park, what do you think the dish that defines Glenelg is?
Glenelg would be the easily affordable lettuce, a.k.a. the garnish.
Thank you, Rob.
You'll have to pay a $5 premium for the garnish soon.
You might have to. Jake in Woodville, good morning.
That's going to be hard to beat, fellas. How are you?
Good, mate.
Good, mate.
I reckon a seafood basket at Sammy's on the Marina is pretty delish.
Seafood basket
is a good pick.
That is a solid
seafood
pick.
basket.
Dean and Craigmore, what do you think the dish that defines Glenelg is?
Good food to snot from the oyster bar.
Okay.
Oysters. Thank you.
We had
Sam,
a few
good morning.
nominations for the oyster bar.
Hi.
Hey, Sam.
Oh, hi, how are you? The Cave. There used to be a place called The Cave back in the 80s.
The Cave?
And they used to sell door stops. Do you remember that place?
Yeah, the Cave was wild. It was open really late too, wasn't it?
Yeah. I remember the dudes that ran it, and they had, like, greyhound pictures all over the walls, and it was, like, right out there. And they'd come out with your food. No, they were amazing.
It had that weird sort of stucco exterior, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It just had a really weird vibe, like something out of a really strange Jerry Lewis movie, you know what I mean? You know, when he goes back as an alien? Oh, yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Sam.
That's a good one. The Cave.
Louis in Ascot Park, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Remember Anderson's ice cream parlour?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, the ice cream parlour.
That's my favourite food, ice cream.
Okay.
Good on you, Louis.
Good on you, Louis. Ray in Lewiston, the dish that defines Glenelg.
Oh, good morning, boys. When I think of Glenelg, I think of the times we've travelled down from the northern suburbs to treat ourselves at the Orange Spot Bakery with a pie and pasty.
Now, Ray, that is a great choice. My late father-in-law, he loved the pasties from the Orange Spot.
I love that.
Beautiful.
We make that trek quite often. That's a great suggestion, Ray. So a pasty.
I had to
An
buy
Orange Spot pasty.
I had to buy a billiard cue for the pool table that I bought off Gumtree, and the pool shop was opposite the Orange Spot. I went, oh, this is going to be the best Saturday morning I've had in a while.
Stephen O'Halloran and Hill, one more before 5AA News. What's the dish that defines Glenelg?
He cut my cheek
She cut my lunch. I was going to say a pie from the orange spot. Mate.
No, she said a pasty, so we'll take a pie.
Yeah, we'll
that
take a
works
pie.
too, Steve. That's
Yeah.
all right. 8223 0000 is the number, or you can text us on the Automasters text line 048008 1395. It's only the calls, though, that go in the running to win the Smeg mixer, and we'll get to some more of those after 5AA News.
You deserve to enjoy doing what you're passionate about. Gardening, for example, or walking to keep fit. So if your body is stopping you from enjoying the life you want, come and see us at SportsMed. Our Stepney Healthcare Hub includes our own hospital, orthopaedic surgeons, doctors, physios and podiatrists, so we can see to your care from diagnosis to rehabilitation all in one place. Easy. Get back to doing what you love. sportsmed.com.au.
If you're due for a service, here's a little reminder of what you get at Mawson Lakes Mazda. Sure, your car gets state-of-the-art servicing by top-trained mechanics. But what do you get? Try next day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash. Oh, and your breakfast or lunch is on us. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, we know that to be the best, we've got to look after your car and look after you. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
Whether a hobby or a full-blown dairy and livestock farm, they all have one thing in common: the need for good quality steel to keep livestock safe and secure. At Knorr Metals, we have just that. From rural fencing and gates to droppers, loading ramps and more, you'll find what you need for your farm. And if we don't, we'll source it for you quickly and at the best price. No matter what kind of farm you have, we'll help you out. At Knorr Metals, 255 Grand Junction Road, Ottawa.
You might think having thousands of powers is excessive, but that's not what the team at Parafield Airport Liquor Store think, because that's how many they have. Sure, they might be made up of over 200 gins, 300 craft beers, 500 whiskies from around the world, and over 2,000 wines. But they're some of the best pals you can have, and they're always looking for more. Parafield Airport Liquor Store. Pals, next to Roulette's Tavern, Kings Road, Parafield.
Centennial Park empowers you with information to help choose how you'll be remembered. Decisions are difficult in times of loss. Pre-planning provides clarity and peace of mind for you and your loved ones. Meaningful funeral services reflect a life lived in beautiful spaces, with modern function rooms and quality catering also on offer. Burials, cremations and memorials are tailored to celebrate your life. We help you understand your choices. Choose how you'll be remembered with Centennial Park.
Looking for huge savings on tiles, taps, vanities, even the loo? Look no further than Beaumont's. With so much on sale, you'll save a fortune on tiles, bathroomware, hybrid flooring, and yeah, even the loo. With so much on sale, you'll be happy you chose Beaumont's.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A shower or two, 15 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Don't miss the $4 million grand prize at Henley Beach. Only days remain. homelottery.com.au.
Molotov cocktails have sparked two fires in the southern suburbs. The first was thrown at a house on Herrings Lane at Happy Valley just before 10 last night. It caused minor damage to the front of the premises. Senior Constable Peter Williams says a second incident followed a few hours later.
Then just before 1:30 this morning, emergency services were called to a home on Valley Fair Road at Hackham West after reports a gold Holden sedan was on fire in the driveway. MFS extinguished that fire, which caused significant damage to the vehicle. Crime scene attended and located a Molotov cocktail near the vehicle, which is believed to have started the fire.
Police are investigating if the two incidents are linked. South Australian shoppers are forking out more due to a shortage of fresh produce. Some grocery stores are charging $9 for a single iceberg lettuce. Wet weather here, floods in Queensland and staff shortages are to blame. Grower Dino Mussolino says the high prices will be here for a while.
Going into June, July is the slowest growing part of the year. So a lot of growers in our state, with the amount of rain that we've had, they can't get in there to plant. So we're going to have another gap. The prices are going to be out there for quite some time, I would imagine.
No more dining in at Pizza Hut. SA's last restaurant at Marion is closing its doors on June 27. There are plans to redevelop the site at the corner of Sturt and Morfett Roads. Well, the Prime Minister will catch up with his New Zealand counterpart tonight as she makes her way across the Tasman. Lucy Gray reports.
The Trans-Tasman Partnership is one of Australia's closest relationships, so it's only fitting New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern is the first foreign leader to visit Anthony Albanese since his election win. Regional security, trade and climate change will be top of the agenda during the two-day trip. Australia's controversial deportation laws will also be discussed. Ms Ardern is travelling alongside her Finance Minister Grant Robertson.
Police have uncovered a major Chinese money laundering syndicate operating out of residential homes in Victoria and New South Wales. Brady Evans has the story.
Federal police, in partnership with the US and Canada, suspect the syndicate is moving hundreds of millions of dollars across the globe. Intelligence also suggests Chinese companies and brokers are supplying the vast majority of precursor chemicals used to make illicit drugs on the Australian market. AFP Commissioner Rhys Kershaw says it raises questions about whether Beijing is turning a blind eye to organised crime.
The Queen is set to miss the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. Organisers have been told she's too frail to attend. Duties will be carried out by Prince Charles and the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and their children. And the Kate Bush resurgence off the back of Stranger Things continues. Her 1985 LP Hounds of Love, which includes Running Up That Hill, has gone to number 1 on Billboard's alternative album chart. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
10-year warranty and 10-year capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
It's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Adelaide defender Tom Duday admits he was a little disappointed the side received some criticism for its win against West Coast last weekend. The Crows won by 31 points, but some have suggested it wasn't impressive enough. Duday telling David and Will he disagrees.
Media's going to find a way to pull you down no matter what, whether you're winning every game like Melbourne were or whether you're on a bit of a slide like we were. So you just have to move on from it and build up for next week.
The Crows have the bye this weekend, while the Power will take on Richmond in a season-defining clash at the MCG tonight. Well, Australia has claimed the second T20 international against Sri Lanka by 3 wickets. The win was set up by Quick's Kane Richardson and West Aussie Jai Richardson, who took 4 and 3 wickets respectively. Kane Richardson says tough conditions for the batsmen played into their hands.
It's a group that knows what they need to do, and I think we summed up the conditions really well, but it obviously showed as well that it wasn't easy to bat on tonight. The way they bowled was outstanding as well, so just a scrappy contest. But yeah, I think as a bowling group, we're gelling together really well.
To Rugby League, Queensland will head to Perth with a State of Origin series lead, with Billy Slater beginning his coaching career on a winning note. The Maroons upsetting the Blues 16-10 in front of 80,000 fans at Stadium Australia. Centre Valentine Holmes was one of their best players, and he says Slater and assistant coaches Cam Smith and Jonathan Thurston helped inspire the team.
We've got 3 of the GOATs coaching us and leading us around, so anything they say is you just take it in. And it's pretty much like gold to us, so I really enjoyed it.
And in some golf to finish, Aussie sensation Minjee Lee says she's eyeing the other 3 majors as she guns for world number 1 after her US Open victory. She currently sits 3rd on the world rankings. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Help SAMRI's life-saving research. Join the Bright Walk July 23rd. Register at samribright.org.au.
At Brooklyn Park, Perth Water Main, Sir Donald Bradburn Drive near Marion Road. That's closed citybound at the moment with detours in place. Expect delays and avoid if you can. Edward Sound Road, plates in use causing a hazard. South Road near Finesse Avenue. Speeds reduced there as well. That's just near Bunnings. And Camden Park, median works on Anzac Highway near Cromer Street. It's affecting both directions and got a lane closed there as well. Busy right now, Goodwood Road, Francis Street to Victoria Street. And we've got a camera, Main North Road at Cutler. Feeling hungry? Head into OTR now, grab a sausage roll and a traveller pie for only $6. Available at OTR for a limited time only. OTR, making life easy. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Hitachi Air Conditioners. Be comfortable all year round. Visit hitachieaircon.com.au.
15 with a shower or 2 today. Showers tomorrow 16, then a shower or 2 again on Saturday 15. Right now it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Come on the rise and win. David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
23 to 9 behind closed doors shortly. Subway's joined KFC now. Have you seen this? Where they're mixing in cabbage with the lettuce to sort of flesh it out with the national shortage that there is.
I thought of one yesterday, Will.
Yeah.
When you made that ridiculous comment, who needs iceberg lettuces? get ready to hoist the white flag.
Okay.
You're ordering a lamb gyros. Would you like just onion and tomato in it, sir?
I don't know if I noticed the lettuce. I'm sorry to break
Oh,
out.
come on! Actually, in all seriousness, do we have any gyros fish shop owners out there? Because the most lettuce-dependent dish available is the gyros.
No, it's the one I totally torpedoed my own argument with yesterday. It was Sung Chow Boy, which is delicious, but it is literally designed to be eaten out of a lettuce.
Well, you could eat it out of the palm of your hand. But the thing is, sang choy bao, right? An entree size serve of sang choy bao, the Chinese entree dish, with all the minced pork and soy sauce and everything in it, served in a lettuce leaf. You're talking there about 4 lettuce leaves. If you run a fish shop, and give us a ring, folks, if you do, you would go through stacks of iceberg lettuces making gyros, and you cannot, it should be illegal, you cannot have a gyros without heaps of lettuce in it.
I'm not sure about the cabbage substitute either. Like, the part of the reason lettuce works in all these dishes is because because of its texture, and it doesn't have an overpowering flavour. Like, that's sort of why you have it.
Taste.
Cabbage has a real taste.
Yeah.
Not happy with this. Hopefully the shortage doesn't last too long. Dino Mussolino is a lettuce grower in Virginia. We wanted to speak to someone and give us a bit of an insight to what's happening. Dino, good morning to you.
Good morning, boys. And I also grow cabbages, and there's nothing wrong with cabbages in a hamburger or anything else you can think of.
Well said, Dino.
The Mexicans put them in tacos.
But you know, there's cabbage and there's Savoy cabbage, which Savoy cabbage is very sweet. So it's a great alternative to iceberg. So don't be too harsh on the cabbage.
Okay. So do you sell enough? Is there enough of an increase in the cabbage business to offset what's happening with the lettuces?
No, there wouldn't be. You know, we're not big cabbage growers in South Australia either. So the demand that's been put on because of the shortage of iceberg could not be filled by cabbage.
So, Dino, in terms of the lettuce shortage nationally, is South Australia sort of as affected as the eastern states? Because my understanding is that a lot of it's because of the floods that they had over there.
Well, see, this time of the year, because it's much warmer up in the eastern states, iceberg would be coming down to suffice some of the market in South Australia and other states and Victoria. But because they've been flooded out, there's nothing coming down from there. And there's probably lettuce going up. In the actual fact, there is lettuce going up to those eastern states that have been washed out. So, and South Australia's not a big producer either of iceberg lettuce. And this time of the year, it's slow growing. So the whole combination together, wet weather, cold, not big suppliers of it, and reliance on other states at this time of the year, just the combination has let consumers down.
So what do you think prices are going to get to?
Look, I don't think the prices are going to get any higher because at the end of the day, there isn't a lot of iceberg around, so it's supply and demand, and it'll begin not to see it on shelves because there's nothing around. And while there's nothing around, the shelf will be empty. You'll have to use an alternative cabbage, Savoy in particular.
What about cos lettuces? Do they all grow, like, do they all have the same? I thought lettuce was one of those plants you can generally grow pretty much all year round.
You can grow lettuce all year round, but it just slows down through the colder period. I mean, we have shorter days, and we're having so much wet, grey days that what we've got in the fields, the growth slows. So that's where the problem comes from. And because there's so much demand, and this market is about supply and demand, and when you see plenty around, you'll see it at 99 cents or less. But when times are, well, this has been unprecedented for what we're seeing at the moment.
Yeah. I'll give you a quick recipe. Finely cut cabbage, lemon juice, olive oil, salt. One of the great salads, and it's so good with grilled meats, particularly with chivapchi cheese. There you go. It's a Middle Eastern dessert.
Well, look, if you look out on the independent market shelves, you'll see plenty of great alternative to buy under our brand, so the consumers don't need to be shy.
Good on you, Dino.
Okay, thanks.
We've been practicing that.
Yeah, that was almost perfect. Dino Mussolino is a lettuce grower from Virginia.
Tell you what, working in the central market, you see the name Mussolino on a lot of boxes. It's been there since the dawn of time, like Cobble-Dicks for broccoli up in the Adelaide Hills. A lot of those names.
You know what? I was just listening to Dino thinking, you know what else we've heard a lot recently? Unprecedented. I'm sick of unprecedented things happening.
It's reached unprecedented levels over the last 2 years.
Dennis in Moonta Bay has a dish that defines Glenelg. Morning to you, Dennis.
Hey, morning. Whiting almond blondine.
Oh, whiting with almonds. That's a great pick, mate.
Yeah, cooked almonds. Beautiful.
Good, beautiful work, Dennis.
Some
Thank you.
Off the end of the Bay jetty there.
That would be perfect. That does feel very Bayish. Julie in Manningham, good morning.
Yes, I've got an unprecedented answer for you.
I see what you did there.
Okay, anything you can get your hands on after a late night at Lenny's.
Oh,
Right.
yes.
So-
Anything.
Not
Anything
particularly
at all.
discerning.
That's a good choice, Julie.
Cos lettuce, cabbage, anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tin of something you found in the back of the pantry when you got home at 4:45 in the morning.
Exceptional. So, in
Anything,
context...
you'd eat anything after you'd been at Lenny's till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Very good, Julie. Let's go to Largs Bay. David, good morning.
Yeah, mate, I'd say Macca's yours, Glenelg.
Oh,
Macca's for Euros. Oh, that takes me back. That's after school going down the bay for a Macca's for Euros. Ari, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. My dish is a surf and turf that matches up with Glenelg very much because you've got the surf, the turf, you've got the lawns, and of course you get a nice steak with a bit of seafood on it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, that really ties the entire suburb together.
It does. It does.
Good work, Ari. Getting some real thinking man's entries at the moment.
It's an interesting suburb, Glenelg, because we were saying, like, so far we've done Campbelltown, and obviously it's got a huge multicultural influence through the Italian community. But Glenelg has no specific ethnicity to it. It's just a sort of, generalised snapshot of Australia, isn't it?
It is. We'll take some more entries, put some more people in the running to win that excellent Smeg mixer very, very shortly. Michael Smith is coming up in a moment. We'll flash back with Michael and go behind closed doors before 9 o'clock. But first, it's time to check traffic. Thanks to Joyreen Fashions. Ladies, Joyreen Fashions is closing with all garments now half price at 491 Portrush Road, Glenunga.
Thanks, Will. At McGill, traffic lights out of action. St Bernard's Road at Morialta Road West. Brooklyn Park, Burst Water Main, Sir Donald Bradburn Drive near Marion Road. It's closed citybound at the moment with detours in place. Expect delays and avoid if you can. Edwardstown road plates causing a hazard. South Road near Finesse Avenue and McGill intersection upgrade works there. McGill Road near St Bernard's Road. Cameras, Dunrobin Road, Hove and Jetty Road at Brighton. The 40 Weeks end of financial year sale is on now with up to 15% off store-wide. Plus, this week only get an extra 10% off. Exclusions apply. 40 Weeks, serious about sleep. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
At Peter Shearer Menswear, for a limited time, buy any item and we'll give you any second item half price. Mix all brands and all styles, including new season winter stock. Buy any Cambridge suit and get a second half price. Refresh your Boston shirts and get a second half price. Buy any Daniel Hester sports coat and get your Aquila chinos half price. Shop in store and online. Always at Peter Shearer Menswear. Rundle Mall, Glenelg, Mount Barker and new store in Gawler. petershearer.com.au. T's and C's apply.
We lost Dad to prostate cancer.
Breast cancer nearly took Mum away.
My little brother is living with leukemia.
My pa caught his bowel cancer early.
Make your donation as personal as your story. You can target the cancer that's hurt you most with Cancer Council SA. Learn more or donate at cancersa.org.au.
Time is running out to grab your tickets in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery for the chance to win the incredible, biggest ever $4 million grand prize. The final deadline is midnight tomorrow.
The stunning, fully furnished Scott Salisbury home with incredible pool and alfresco area in beautiful Henley Beach could be yours, along with a cheeky $1 million in cash.
Imagine that, no mortgage and a whole lot of freedom to create the life you've always dreamed of. You could be celebrating next week, but you only have until midnight tomorrow to get your tickets.
The whole community wins because when you buy a ticket in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery, you join the fight for our loved ones battling serious disease and illness through world-leading medical research, better treatments and improved care in hospitals throughout South Australia.
Just visit homelottery.com.au and get your tickets today.
Driving into the forest, there was this trail
of tiny crabs along the beach. We stopped for a
photo at the house where Nan grew up. It's in the middle
of this epic storm. We quickly shut the sunroof before getting
hot chips on the way home.
Memorable moments start with the end of financial year Mazda moment.
From the stylish and sophisticated CX-30 to the luxurious, spacious CX-9, ask your dealer about impressive value across the Mazda SUV range and make the most of every journey.
9 News has the experience to break the news. Made in Adelaide for Adelaide. 9 News. David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
Twelve to 9, Behind Closed Doors is coming up in just a moment, but first we're going to flash back with Michael Smith from 7 News. What is you, Michael?
Good morning, Will and Dave. Grab your mixtapes because this week on Flashback we are going for an analogue trip back in time to the days when TDK did amazing things to your system. We're looking at the rise and fall and rise again of the cassette. Do you guys still have any cassettes in your home?
I've got heaps, mate. I've got cassettes I made for parties in Year 12 in 1985 by taping songs off SAFM.
Fantastic. I used to do that listening to Dial-A Hit on 5AD with Greg and Daisy, and the trick was to do it without getting the announcer talking over the music, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. It's all in the fingers, all in the technique.
It's amazing how revolutionary the cassette was, because if you think of it before then, if you wanted to listen to music at home, it was either on vinyl or you had to have a reel-to-reel player, which were pretty expensive and quite cumbersome to thread up the tape. The first cassettes were developed by RCA back in the late 50s, but they were quite different from the cassettes that most of us know. They were more sort of the size of an A4 piece of paper. It wasn't until 1963 that the Dutch firm Philips came up with the compact cassette that we all know. I've caught up with Vic Flurl, who's been in the record store game for 35 years. He
Mr. V Music.
Mr. V down at Semaphore, a fantastic store, an incredible range of vinyl. He's actually got a lot of cassettes down there as well as CDs and everything else. And he said that the introduction of the cassette recorder really was revolutionary.
They were fantastic for all sorts of reasons. They came with a microphone. You could plug the mic in and you could record yourself. I mean, who'd ever done that before? You know, so we were 10-year-old kids recording yourself, recording off radio, you know, pretending to be a DJ, chatting onto a cassette, then recording a bit off radio, then chatting a bit more. Cassettes were the first thing to make that available hands-on to a kid in his bedroom or whatever.
Don't tell me you guys didn't do that.
Oh, yeah. I was right into it massively. So me and my cousin Mike used to make sketches and would record them and all of that. Vic's a legend in the local music scene. He started Big Star Records in Rundle Street all those years ago.
Long association with the record game, quite an accomplished musician himself as well. And incredibly, he's got some cassettes there that are quite rare, including an AC/DC cassette, which is worth $150. So if you have got some cassettes at home, it might be worth rifling through them to see if you've got any rare or unusual ones in your collection. Of course, cassettes really rose in popularity with the advent of the Walkman in 1979 when Sony came out with that. You might remember that Cliff Richard Wired for Sound video
right.
when he's running around with his Walkman. But of course, then MP3s came along and CDs, and they sort of declined. Although Vic was saying that quite a lot of local Adelaide bands are now releasing new music on cassette, partly because it appeals to their audience, but of course it's a cheap way of reproducing their music without necessarily doing a huge digital music run. And he reckons if you buy some of those now, they could be worth a fortune in time too.
Good stuff, Michael. Great segment. Michael Smith from 7 News with Flashback.
9 minutes to 9, Behind Closed Doors in a moment. We're probably going to squeeze in a couple more SMEG entries for that excellent mixer. Matt and McLaren Flat. Matt, what is the dish that defines Glenelg?
Well, I reckon I remember the old Magic Mountain was a bit cheesy, so I'll say the prawn cocktail.
The prawn cocktail, thank you, Matt. There's lots with a sort of seafood flair to them this morning. Seamus, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, boys. I reckon it's a Graham Corns ham and cheese sandwich where Graham insists that the ham is on the top layer and can't be anywhere else.
That is a good choice.
Jackie in Lockley's, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Good, thanks, Jackie.
I'm going with, so iconic, the HMAS Buffalo in Glenelg. It was fabulous. Buffalo wings.
Oh, yeah, good one.
That's clever.
When it disappeared a few years ago, that boat, didn't it? It's not there anymore. Or is it?
It's a good...
I can't even remember. Is it there?
It was going to be taken away. I actually can't recall.
No,
Paul in
no,
Woodville South, good morning.
Morning, guys. Just in line with what Dave said earlier about there's no real ethnic cuisine, I reckon the Watermark, you can get any cuisine at the Watermark.
Yeah, that's true. Good spot. Very good spot. Good on you, Paul.
We'll go to Rosedale. Andrew's also on the line. Morning, Andrew.
Good morning.
What's yours, mate?
Well, I think we've got Anzac Highway leading straight to Glenelg, so we should have some bully beef and an Anzac biscuit, wash that down with some tea, probably weak and made in a billy.
That's good, a nice historically inspired one.
I think the tram is at the point where the Buffalo was now. You know, there's that Red Rattler tram that's there.
Yeah, it's weird. I've been down there so many times, I've never even looked. I drove past it the other day.
There's the old Red Rattler sitting there now that's a cafe.
Blakey's just texted me saying the Buffalo's gone.
Yeah.
So John Blake says the Buffalo's gone.
The tram's there. There's a red tram there. Speaking of John Blake, and just to give you some time to come up with a winner for the Smeg Mixer this morning, it's time to go behind closed doors thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight, distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed...
You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
And welcome back to 5AA Breakfast. And David Penberthy, welcome back to you too.
Yeah, good morning, Will. Good morning, listeners.
Today on the program...
The backbone of a prawn cocktail is lettuce.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, David, because this morning we're looking at the fact that KFC have announced that there's a shortage of lettuce, and so they're using cabbage instead.
Oh, no, that's a tragedy. The world can't survive without lettuce, especially iceberg lettuce. Forget your coral lettuce and your cress and your rocket and your endive and your mesclun. The iceberg's the only way to go when it comes to lettuce.
Well, actually, from a personal taste point of view, if we had to do without one vegetable, I'm glad it's lettuce.
Oh, no way. You've got to be kidding me.
Well, pick another vegetable. Which one would you rather do without?
Sweet potato. I can't stand sweet potato.
Sweet potato?
Completely useless. There's far too much colour, flavour and texture involved in a sweet potato.
You can't be serious, David.
The iceberg lettuce is the perfect, unique balance of air, water and just the right amount of bland, tasteless fibre to render it almost unnoticeable.
Exactly. It's a waste of space.
It's a green ball of happiness.
Lettuce is the A4 paper of the food world.
Have you ever had a BLT without lettuce in it?
And the BLT is the DL envelope.
Or a Caesar salad without lettuce in it?
Yep, I have, and I didn't notice the lettuce was missing.
So you'd have a prawn cocktail without lettuce in it?
Well, I just got a text from John Blake who said he made prawn cocktails on the weekend without lettuce and they were fabulous.
Well, what would he know?
He agrees that lettuce makes them look better, but that's about it.
I tell you how much I love iceberg lettuce.
Okay.
If I had one here, I'd smash it over your head and steal it.
That's pretty much...
That almost happened.
It did. That's the biggest fight we've ever had.
Well, it's up there.
Good Friday football.
Good Friday football. Drafting players out of the SANFL.
Oh, yeah, you love doing that. We'll take nothing warms the cockles of his hearts more than destroying an SANFL club mid-season.
What else is there? I think that's the sort of the
We've
top
never really
three.
had a proper fight,
I think that'd be the top three. Good Friday football was the biggest.
I don't even know how we ended up on opposite sides of that debate. It's weird.
I'm not sure.
Oh, well.
Sleep deprivation does weird things to you.
That's right. Shut up.
Now, we need a winner for the SMEG competition. Hey, just a reminder, because we get thousands of calls for the SMEG appliance, which is fair enough too, because they're always spectacular. These guys and us have a partnership for months. So each and every, once a week, we're going to be playing Dish That Defines a Suburb, and we're going to be giving something new. Don't know what it's going to be next week.
Who knows where the compass will land?
Who knows where the compass will land, but who knows what the appliance will be either. And there will be one, and there'll be plenty of them over the course of the next couple of months.
We haven't been south yet.
South next, maybe, you think?
Maybe. All will be revealed next week.
Now, have you got some honourable mentions and a winner for us in today's competition to define Glenelg, which is a tricky one?
It was tricky, but I think people rose to the occasion. So many great entries. Tyson, Susan, Vicky, Rob, Jake, Jackie, Paul, Seamus, Matt. But I think for something evocative that captured a place that was an institution that so many of us can relate to, even if we can't quite remember the details of what happened there, we're going to give the excellent Smeg mixer to Julie from Manningham for her pick, which was the food that defines Glenelg is anything after you've been at Lenny's Tavern all night. That was a terrific entry.
And it encapsulates the spirit of the competition in which there is no right answer and there's no wrong answer. It's just
that place was
your
good.
answer. It's very clever. Let's get a headline.
Emotional cabbage. Food fight rages as Subway joins KFC's lettuce ban. Embrace the cabbage.
Spirited defence of the cabbage from Dino Mussolino earlier too, wasn't it?
He's great, Dino. He knows his stuff.
He certainly does. Certainly, so does Leon Biner. He's coming up next, and we'll catch you tomorrow morning from 6.
There's no blueprints to your new custom-built Beechwood home. Well, not yet anyway. But together with Beechwood, it won't take long to turn your ideas